the countdown over. That means we're live on a Saturday night. And this is going to sound stupid, but I just worked out something about this laptop that I'm always complaining about, how it falsely represents how the lighting looks. It's all about the angle of the screen. And I've actually got it angled away from me in a way I don't usually have it, and it's giving me a much truer representation of how my lighting looks. So I learned something tonight. There you go. Who's already here? Megaleech and Annette and Musical Aviator. Hello to you. Man, my hair's all sort of... Yeah, now it's worse. Excellent. I look like the Aliens guy. Now I'm just got to... Whatever. Hair's so long, I don't know what to do with it. Ugh, whatevs. We shall soldier on. My bad hair day notwithstanding. Oh, nice, Catherine. Hot chocolate and PJs. That is absolutely the way to go. And Nug, hello to you, my friend. I'm trying to remember what part of the world you're in. It's morning for you, isn't it? 8 p.m. on a Saturday night here. Yes, my third night off. Celtic King, I didn't go to the post. I might tomorrow, actually. I might go into the city tomorrow, where I would expect it to be very quiet. And so we shall see. So, yes. Yes, now I'm the Silver Yeti look. That's fair. And like, aliens. Oh, look, I did this. And then I'm into aliens. Yeah, I'm just going to stay like this all night. Why not? Jesus. Ugh. Yep. No, I'm definitely going shaggy tonight. It's Mad Scientist hair night. That's definitely what's happening. Mad Scientist hair. Oh, well. Charlie's streams are going to kill you. Well, I'll be taking... that's probably AIDSy asking if I'm doing a live stream. Pocket Go Ding. It's AIDSy. I will just send him the link. And he shall grace us with his presence at some point. Just send him the mail de électronique. AIDSy. Send it. Done. And I'll let him know I emailed him the link. Yes, Charlie, this is like just three nights in a row doing long streams is a bit of a challenge. I have no idea how long I'm going to last tonight. We will see. I've been fine all day today, but sorry if I keep doing that. There's a fucking fruit fly, and it annoys the shit out of me when it comes into my vision, and I want to kill it, and I keep failing to. Yes, so I don't really want to write off my Sunday, but we'll see. Last night I hit it about as hard as it's advisable to hit it. Because I think even one more drink, maybe two more drinks, and I would have been quite sick, I think, and hungover. So as it was hunky-dory. I mean, yeah, I could... My body does let me know, you drank a lot of alcohol last night. But I was fine. I wasn't tired. I wasn't sick. You could just feel like, oh, yeah, the body's adjusting after... a higher than average amount of alcohol was consumed last night. So, yay for binge drinking. Don't binge drink, kids. Not cool. Chrissy ducked out early. That's okay, man. I mean, it's morning for you. And Annette, hello to you. Ooh, nice. Charlie's having lamb cutlets and roast potatoes. I had chicken katsu curry, light and easy style. So crumbed chicken, rice, veggies in the Japanese katsu curry sauce. Not bad at all, actually. First time I have had it. I'm quite fond of katsu curry, and that was my first time trying light and easies, and it was pretty good. And then you drank too much last night. I think I saw your Facebook post of regret. You possibly posted at like 3 or 4 a.m., which is right about the time I went to bed, I think. Or did I go to bed at about 2? Hey, Gecko, how you doing? So, yes, yeah, yes, that's, I did see it, did I? That's good. Yes. Oh man, I love roast potatoes. Really decadent roast potatoes are the best. One of the places I've ordered food from in lockdown times for date night, Mrs. Angry and I have been getting food in from places we like to go out to. We found one that was doing these big meals. It's a place that normally does functions and wedding receptions and whatnot, with the odd name of Quat because it's on a street called Quat Street, and I don't know what that's a reference to. Could look it up, I guess. I think I have looked it up once and I forgot what it is. Anywho, so they're used to producing large amounts of food, so it's not hot and fresh when you get it. Like, they take orders in advance and then they bulk prepare them, and you go and pick them up, and you have to heat them up or cook them a bit when you get them home. And there's everything from steak to Asian food to vegetarian stuff and whatnot. And it's quite good. It is quite good. I was a little bit, you've got to take it home and heat it up. Okay. But it's quite good. And they don't do it they haven't done it for a while, but they did a roast potato that was so fucking decadent. I swear to God, you could back a truck up with this roast potato. I would keep eating it till I died. It was that fucking good. And it was clearly incredibly decadent. It's probably like cooked in duck fat or something. It's amazing. But anywho, Catherine, you need lean cuisine, healthy choice. Yes, that is a really good call, Catherine. When you're low energy, you don't spend $40 on delivery. That's a good thing. Yeah, you can do a one-off order on Light and Easy. Now, they are a little more expensive than like supermarket lean cuisine, etc. I also think they are much better. There is a huge variety. And I mean, like, in the dinner meals, there's like 80 options. There's a huge variety, and they are better quality than like lean cuisine and supermarket freezer stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with getting that exactly for those emergencies, but definitely consider, you can just do a one-off order with Light and Easy and just get some dinners and keep them in the freezer, because they're really good. Celtic King's ducking off. Maybe come back. All right. I added, this is an interesting color, very purple, the blood orange juice. The last lot was much more purple than it was red. Also added a bit of pineapple juice in my non-alcoholic concoction. Be responsible, kids. Drink some non-alcoholic drinks along with your alcoholic drinks, because I'm absolutely drinking alcoholic drinks tonight. I'm going to drink that completely clear milk clarified one I did last night. Looks like water. I'm going to have to do it with some of my magic clear ice cubes to really accentuate it. They're not cubes, bits of ice though. They're cylinders. I'm trying to think what glass I should put it in. Maybe my tiki mug, my tiki goblet. Big decisions, big decisions. Gecko, you've been getting bags of frozen gyoza from Trader Joe's. I've heard Trader Joe's is actually pretty good. Yeah, steam them. Gyoza is good. I'm very fond of gyoza. Actually, like steaming gyoza and then shallow pan frying them to get the outside crispy. Oh, yes, I am. I am a fond. We're in the Japanese food mode tonight, talking about katsukari, gyoza. I'm not into sushi as such, which is what a lot of people think when they think Japanese food. The raw fish, sashimi, and sushi. Not my thing, but a few staples of cooked Japanese food I find very yummy. Yeah, that's good advice, Nog. Have water or a soft drink between pints. Just don't drink. Mix it up. I mean, I'm just starting with. Well, this is basically a pint of lemonade and fruit juice. In Lynn, I'm going to have some cocktails. Decide what cocktails to have, really. Look for inspiration. Actually, as we always, well, not always, but it regularly comes up on this live stream. There's a desperate sounding cat. Where is it? Anyway, so it was really distracting. I'm almost out of marionette curacao, like the equivalent of triple sec. So I'm gonna maybe order some more, maybe from someone else. They do a cassis as well, and I was really I might get their cassis as well. Christ, and for that matter, they do an amaretto that I'm really quite interested in. God, I might go absolutely nuts on Marionette's site. And they've got this limited edition one that's super expensive, like 50% more than their regular drinks. Bunya bunya. I don't think I'm that into it. I don't need that. So I might get their cassis and curacao, maybe even their amaretto. My God, that cat is just making such desperate noises. Don't know if you can hear it. I think it's more likely to be Shadow making that desperate noises. So I can hear other members of the household laughing at how it's the cat being really desperate to be fed, which it's not like they're starved. They're just pretty insistent about getting fed again, usually. The other one I want to compare to is Brogan's Way. What do we have on sale in the Brogan's Way shop? Yes, I'm over 18, Brogan's Way. Shop. What do we got in the shop? Okay, so we have Everyday Gin, Light Gin, Hearts of Fire Gin, Navy Strength Gin, that's the one I've got from Brogan's Way, a Strawberry Spiced Gin, a Passion Fruit Gin, a Women's Work Gin, Passion Fruit Gin Liqueur, Batch Zero Vodka, gift packs, little bottles. No, I'm probably not getting anything from Brogan's. What's Women's Work? That must have been a limited edition they did. Collaboration with their friends from Sparkle. Collaboration with renowned wine and beverage maker Rose Kentish of Sparkle Brewing in Adelaide. Launched on International Women's Day 2020. Sweetened, glowing pale pink, juniper-driven, warm red fruit notes of native currants, which is heightened with soft freshness of red center limes, ruby grapefruits, fresh lemons, limes, and oranges. No, okay. Just wanted to check out Brogan's Way, but I won't be buying anything from them tonight. Oh my God, the cat is still going off down there. Yeah, no, they are absolutely that cat stereotype of, but the bowl isn't absolutely full. I can see a bit of the bottom, so therefore I have no food. They are ridiculous cat stereotypes. Charlie, what did I miss? It's Fireball with powdered milk. I'm I'm very confused about what that is and what that comment's in reference to. But yes. So because I need me some curacao, and I think I want to get their cassis too. Maybe even their amaretto. Those things. Almonds from the Keynes family lush biodynamic orchards on the Murray, macerated with a lick of golden syrup and a dash of salt. Marzipan characters of Golden Valley apricot kernels, held over from the Marionette apricot brandy, and muscat from Australia's fortified wine heartland, Rutherglen. It is tempting. That one's tempting. Yeah, because my only sort of nut liqueur is the macadamia liqueur. Oh, right. You got censored, Charlie. It was a drink called Dragon Cum. Okay. You're being censored. Yes. Fireball with powdered milk. That does sound like a very strange drink. Yes, Charlie. You're too dirty for YouTube. That's why we've got to have OnlyFans should do live streams. See? Then I'd live stream from OnlyFans. Yes. And Gecko, why do you think you're dumb? What did you miss? God, it's like every day now I get an email from YouTube that they've age restricted a 12 or 14-year-old YouTube video because it's full of the swears, as you know, the overwhelming majority of my YouTube videos are. And I don't have an objection to it. I just think it's funny. It's like, yes, I've been destroying the moral fiber of the world for 12 years. Finally, though, you caught it. Society is saved. It's so dumb. Oh, right, Charlie. You missed up Clinton. Forgot that was Charlie. Yes. Yes, that's Charlie's screen name. Yeah, YouTube. It's so silly. So silly. But anyway. Yes, it's I always am fascinated when people get upset by a corporate decision YouTube, for instance, makes. Not just YouTube, Twitter or Facebook as well. But I'm thinking specifically of YouTube. People get upset at this corporate decision as if they're like, YouTube owes them something. And it's like, first, you're a fucking moron if you think any company anywhere owes you anything or gives a shit about you. Second, if it's that bad a deal, don't fucking use the platform. Just, fuck off. It's just ridiculous, redonkulous. And it's just some people really humiliate themselves when they complain about things. Annette, you need to buy a TV set-top box, but don't know which one to get. I am not an expert in such things. Someone might have an opinion. All right, Charlie's letting us know it's Litten is a Pokemon. So now I feel compelled to share. That's the Pokemon Litten. So now you know. Knowledge is a powerful thing, and our knowledge has been increased. That particular Pokemon is Litten. So there you go. Oh, no, you can't watch the AFL because you don't have a set-top box. That seems weird, but anyway. Probably watch it online. I don't know. What TV station is screening the football? I would suggest look at the website of the TV station that is screening the football, and you might be able to watch it online. I don't know. It's not something I've looked into. Okay, Litten's. Now I need to know Litten's final evolution. Oh, okay. Jesus, that looks like a friggin' furry, quite honestly. Okay. This is someone's artistic interpretation. Again, I'm sharing screen. We're getting knowledge. There. That's the final. That's the evolutions of Litten. From was it Litten to Ember Cub to Saber Lava. Oh, there you go. Cute. Very cute. So tonight we're learning about Pokemon. There you go. Okay, do we get C-band satellite in Australia? Would not have the vaguest of clues if we get C-band satellite in Australia. Virtually no one uses satellite in Australia. Kind of had a moment about 20 years ago when it kind of sort of looked like it might get taken up in there's obviously possible you can get satellite receivers and you can pick up satellite signals, but it never took off as a commercial enterprise. There was a moment about 20 years ago when it kind of sort of looked like it might get a foothold, and then it didn't. I think it was like Foxtel's cable was seen to be easier and more reliable. And it definitely wouldn't take off now with streaming services to compete with. I mean, yeah, we're overwhelmed with options for viewing these days. So something that requires, all the hardware that satellite does is not going to be very popular at all. Charlie, your mum's watching the AFL, said she needs glasses so she can see the muscles. She knows what it's all about. Copping a look at those muscled young men. Why not? Why not indeed, I say. Go Charlie's mum. Yes, they're just parading out there in their short shorts, showing off what they got, shaking their money makers. Actually just thought of something. Searching. If there's another Melbourne distiller that makes... Oh, okay, yes, Curaçao's a place. I put Melbourne, Curaçao, and it's just telling me all the flights from the place, Curaçao to Melbourne. So much for that. Yes, Charlie, your mum does sound like a cougar, honestly. Yes. Oh, yes, we're talking about the big ugly satellite dishes. Yeah, that's the big reason they never took off. Big ugly satellite. Hey, Wrestling Days, Big Pat. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yes, the football, the term that gets thrown around that means very different things in different parts of the world. I just noticed that's automatically okay. God, look at the fucking huge expanse of my forehead reflecting. All right, I'm going to take a huge risk and switch off the automatic because it keeps adjusting itself for exposure. And just keep it constant. How is that? Is that too dark? I feel like that might be too dark. So I'm not, but it's very hard for me to tell. It's better? Good. Okay, it's better. That's all we need to know. Let's see what it looks like on my phone, actually. I'm always intrigued as to Hitler and tanks. So if I look up like this, so I can see what I'm looking directly at, it's a couple seconds delay, and I can. So if I look up like this, yep, that's better. That's better. Okay, good. Pat, you watching the football? Who's winning, buddy? Noog, speaking of sports ball, Comcast's leaking into B Sky B, charging pay-per-view on some football games. Oh, I bet that causes a bit of fucking tension. A lot of people regard the opportunity to see sports free to air as somewhat of a right. Making some more of my clear ice has been in the freezer for a couple of days. It's to come out. In fact, I might have to put it back in the freezer because it might not be ready to come out before I go to bed tonight. But we'll see. I'll mess with it while we're going with this live stream. So, que sera, sera. We shall see what we shall see. Man, I'm a real convert to blood orange since I randomly decided to get some a while back. So much better flavor than not that I dislike orange juice, but blood orange juice is so much better. So that's my call. Kids, top fruit juice, blood orange juice. Speaking of juice, I have to bloody juice some citruses that I have, some lemons and limes. And I think I have to make some fresh sugar syrup because I think I've kept my sugar syrup too long and I'm worried something's growing in it. I think most people say you're only meant to keep it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, a week. I don't know. I've kept it for much longer. Abigail, everything sucks. That is honestly fair. That is honestly fair. But yes. Annette, I don't think it's more bitter than normal orange juice. I think it's tangier. I don't think it's bitter, though. It's just got a zestier flavor. Chris, you got apple cider and snacks? That sounds like fine preparation there. And you think they're just testing the waters because it wasn't the big games with the big clubs. And maybe if they can get away with doing pay-per-views, then they'll buy the rights to the big games. Yeah. Yes, the increasing corporatization. Yeah. Yes. They don't want us to have access to anything. Like, as a lot of people have observed, if libraries didn't already exist, you would have a hell of a time getting someone to invent libraries. In Western countries, with crimes, it's dirty communism and whatnot. Oh, nice. Annette, apple cider and meat pies that you bought to watch the game. That sounds really good. As in a really good decision on your part, honestly. I like meat pies. And of course, meat pies can mean a whole spectrum of things as well. But yes. Yeah, Chris, it's the corporatization and the consolidation of media ownership around the world is an exceptionally bad thing. Exceptionally bad. It's bad for everyone. And the decisions made to let it happen are so fucking short-sighted. Big Pat with the score update. Geelong 35, Richmond 13. The Cats off to a big start there. Yes, yeah, Annette, I'm with it. Playing 4 and 20. Frozen pack before from the supermarket with tomato sauce. I am there. I don't mind mixing it up with some gourmet style meat pies as well. But I got nothing against, the meat pies from the supermarket freezer with tomato sauce. Absolutely. Chris, you can, trying to work in media, yes. You can never burn a bridge no matter how shitty you're treated. Yeah. It's very bad. God, you know what you made me think of? I recently rewatched Reality Bites, the 90s Gen X coming of age film was very big. Charlie, having dinner. Enjoy your dinner. Yes, Abigail, I am also not in the sports ball, but Gen X, Reality Bites, that was supposed to, be the film of my generation. And I remember thinking, even at the time, this film's a bit of a wank. But rewatching it, I was like, oh my God, I hate every fucking character in this film. I fucking hate them all. And there might have been some self-recognition that was making me do that. But there's this bit where Winona Ryder's character is, her big dream was to work in media, and she got a job being the assistant for some dickhead morning chat show presenter, and he's an asshole and he treats her like shit, and he's a wanker and all that. And but she does this thing because he's not very talented. He reads off cue cards, and she gave him question cards. So he says things like, I'm attracted to little boys and things like that. So and it's a live show, and he just keeps reading off these cards and just reading. His brain doesn't process the words before he reads them. So she humiliates them. And of course, she gets fired. And I remember thinking, like, it's in the movie, it's treated like it's a real shitty turn of events that she gets fired. And I was like, you can't fucking humiliate your boss on TV and expect to ever work in media again. I mean, that was ridiculous. And the idea that was her being some stick it to the man anti-hero, it's like, no, walk the fuck away from your job. You can't do something that stupid. That will get you rightly that means you're absolutely untrustworthy. If you do something like that, no matter how much of an asshole your boss is, you've just marked yourself as completely untrustworthy, and you'll never work in media again. Yeah, and you agree. It was a bit of a wank. But Abigail, yes, that's a completely legitimate Gen X memory, being still in love with Liv Tyler. I wonder what she's doing with herself these days, because I don't think she's been making films or TV. Let's look her up, actually. Let's look up what's the last things Liv Tyler worked on. I can't even remember anything since Lord of the Rings. Did Steven Tyler know Liv was his daughter? Liv didn't know Steven Tyler was her dad until she was 9. Oh, there you go. So, Liv Tyler's IMDb. Ah, okay. She's been in TV. Oh, that's right. She was in Ad Astra. I saw that. She's been doing TV. She's been doing a lot of TV, in fact. Oh, that's what she's been doing. She's been doing TV. Probably the last movie I saw her in was in 2012, Robot and Frank. So yeah, 8 years since I've seen her in a film, but since then she's done a couple of films I haven't heard of, but she's done a lot of TV. So she has been working the whole time. There you go. Good to know. Good to know. Chris, you were blacklisted in your city for a couple of years after your project was stolen. Oh, damn. Not good. Gecko, Ad Astra is okay. There's some very silly stuff in it, but it's okay. Oh, nice. That's a nice link. There we go. Anthony Paglia, who's an Australian, who has played the record store owner on Empire Records. You're friends with his niece. She's into student activism and feminist isms and is amazeballs. That's a neat connection. Chris, you were thinking that was the last time you teach someone and you're getting paid. Yeah, it can be a bit stressful. Yes, absolutely. Nice. I love that as trivia, Abigail. Liv Tyler still knows the Sindarin lines she spoke in Lord of the Rings, and they gave her the sword her character owned. I still love the idiot fucking nerd incel dickhead boys who got upset that Eowyn was given more of a role and was actually given some action that in the book is performed by a different male elf, and it's like, what did you fucking expect, you fucking munted idiots? Tolkien didn't write any women. There's like one decent female character in the entire Lord of the Rings, and that's Eowyn. And of course he had to invent and beef up some female roles just so there was the presence of women on screen. You know, still didn't have anyone who wasn't white on screen, but nobody. G'day, how you doing? And I don't know if it was really Tolkien, but I don't know if he created it, but he certainly entrenched it and perpetuated it. The idea that in science fiction or fantasy, you can create a race or a species that's wholly evil, so it doesn't matter what happens to them. Sorry, Abigail, I forgot. Galadriel, yes. She had her moment, her one chapter in the book. But yes, the only female character who's in like more than one chapter in the book is Eowyn. But yeah, I don't know if it was Tolkien who invented it, but he certainly consolidated the idea that you have a baddie that is an entire species that's bad, an entire race that's bad, which is really poorly coded racism. And it really bugs me when people still do that. Hi, Invisible Chicken. How are you? And in fact, there was one instance, I have to admit, I have almost no time for critics, or possibly even worse, snotty fandom wankers who get super judgy about shit. And again, because I've been into Doctor Who for years, and I'm just like, I just enjoy it. I don't care if no one else enjoys it, but when some of the criticisms are stupid as fuck. There was one, like, I really quite liked one of the monsters they invented, the Silence, the creepy big head alien looking things that are fairly terrifying, but you forget them as soon as you're not looking at them. And they'd been controlling Earth for ages because of that power, and the Doctor found a way to get rid of them. And then in a later season, the Silence reappeared, and they appeared not to be evil. And that thing about, and there was this creepy thing, like, because you're used to the Silence being bad, and like the Doctor and Amy are walking into this thing. I think it was on Gallifrey, I'm trying to remember, and the Silence are looming in, going, "Confess," and it seems really evil. But what turns out is the Silence specialized in being priest confessors, because people would genuinely, openly confess the worst things, because then they would forget doing it. And so people could honestly confess to the Silence priests because they would forget they'd done it, and it would make people be honest. And I saw someone, and this was like not some dickhead on the internet. This was someone who was employed to do critiques, and they got angry that, oh, you changed everything when the Silence weren't a universally evil, malevolent force. And it was just like, what sort of stupid fucking moronic attitude is it where you just go, oh no, I think where you introduce an actual intelligent species and just declare every single member of that species is evil? It's like so fucking stupid. And this motherfucker was paid to say that. Seriously. Sorry, nobody, you having a bad day? Someone asked you questions. Oh, no, in the church, and they invalidated you. Fuck it, man. Sometimes I always say, don't fucking ask if you can't deal with it. Yeah, sorry, Abigail. That's what I was saying when I said that. Did I say Arwen? I meant Arwen's role was expanded, because otherwise the only female character who does anything is Eowyn. So yes, that's what I said. They gave a male elf whose name I forgot. Thank you. It's Glorfindel. But stupid fucking misogynist nerd boys on the internet went up with all this stupid fucking, oh no, she's the heir to this, and they wouldn't let her. And like, get fucked, you idiot. They were just trying to have slightly more significant female roles in the film. And it's just like, for God's sake. Nice. Nobody. The person's going to pay for pissing you off. Hell has nothing on the fury of a triggered Aspie. I think this is, yes, very much well-represented people on the spectrum on these streams. So I think there's a lot of people who will identify with what you say, most definitely. Okay, I have finished my drink. Abigail saying Galadriel stood up to Sauron at the height of his power in the first stage, and she's a badass. Wasn't there? They keep removing, not removing. They keep rumoring there's going to be, a Tolkien world TV series, and it's going to be pre-Lord of the Rings. So, first age, second age, that type of stuff. Gecko, you're referring to Eowyn, King Theoden's daughter. That's who we've been talking about. She is the only female character that's in the Lord of the Rings for more than about a chapter. and she's not that. And in fact, they actually cut out they cut out the love story because because they didn't have the time for it. But in the book, The Lord of the Rings, Eowyn and Faramir end up in the Houses of Healing at the same time because they've both been very badly injured, and there's a love story, and they end up getting married. Catherine, yeah, the Silmarillion stories is what they're rumored to be. Abigail, you're saying the TV show set in the Second Age, probably focused on Numenor and Gondor. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be good. I mean, there's a lot of source material for them. Okay, Eowyn was Theoden's niece. I read The Lord of the Rings 20 times when I was a nerd teenager, but I have not read it for many a year, many a decade, in fact. So, Gecko, Aragorn's love interest was Arwen, who we were talking about in the movies. They beefed up her role. They gave her some stuff that was done by a male elf in the books. God, Abigail, you've read the Silmarillion more than The Lord of the Rings. God, okay. That's hardcore nerdery because I've read the Silmarillion multiple times, but it's much denser and heavier going. Lord of the Rings is a lot more free-flowing and readable than the Silmarillion. But of course, the Silmarillion is a really dense, packed, everything literally from creation, the creation myth of Middle-earth, through to all the things. So, yeah, it's and all those books that Christopher Tolkien had published after his dad's death that were like pieced together stuff from notebooks. Most of those are horrible. They're like, not necessarily like bad stories, but like they're depressing as fuck. The stories are just fucking awful. It's like good old J.R.R. sat down and went, what if some really fucked shit happened? And then he's like finished this short story and gone, yeah, no one wants to read that. And 50 years after his death, it gets published. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. But yeah, I forget which was the last one I read of the bits that were published posthumously, but the story was just fucking incest and fratricide and just a whole bunch of fucked up shit. And it's like, I feel like I know why Tolkien didn't get this published in his lifetime, because I reckon after writing it, he's looked at it and gone, fuck, no one wants to read this. Oh, Abigail, you've hit your stride now. Gondolin was the hidden city of the Noldar and Elves from the First Age in the land of Beleriand, and it was a major stronghold in the fight against Morgoth, aka Melkor. The very thinly veiled Hebrew creation story where Morgoth is very obviously... Actually, Lucifer's not a Hebrew invention, is he? Lucifer's a Christian invention. I've said this before on live streams, and I'll say it again. I would really love to read a comparison, or a good book that was either... It could be fiction or non-fiction. If it's non-fiction, just tracing the history of the concept of the devil and all the different names and all the different devils and demons that have been invented over the years and what roles they had in, when they were invented and what their relation was, or a fiction that did the same thing. Because the concept of the devil fascinates me, and all the different names over the years, Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and again, and I know these are different entities, things like Asmodeus and Baphomet and whatnot. I would love a history of where they all came from. Catherine, how does it compare to how far Game of Thrones goes with those themes? There's a lot more words in Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a lot lighter reading than The Lord of the Rings, basically. Yes, Annette, Lucifer was the morning star, the light bringer, first and foremost of the heavenly host. But he started to question God because God was doing shit things. God was doing terrible things. And Lucifer was like, what the fuck is going on? And so started a war in heaven. Yes. Yes. That's what I meant about Morgoth being thinly veiled Lucifer. Didn't fall from grace, wasn't cast down, but he did rebel. He was discordant because in the creation of the world was all in song, and he sang in a discordant tone. Stella, you think the concept of the devil was borrowed from the Byzantines? Yeah, you're right. Fucking all of Christianity is actually knocked off from the earlier religions. Nobody, the name Satan is many things: adversary, stumbling block. Yeah, see, nobody, I know, and again, having grown up Catholic, I know those things of, Satan, Lucifer, etc., aren't biblical as such. They most definitely are not. And that's why I would love a history of when these entities were created. In some people's mind, they're all the one, but I know they were different entities. Like I was saying, things like Beelzebub and Baphomet and Asmodeus and Lucifer and Satan and all these things. And then, Neil Gaiman's Lucifer is fun. Because he doesn't really talk about why he rebelled. But there's a much lesser known graphic novel Neil Gaiman wrote that I can't even remember the name of it, but I picked it up in a library one day, and it was basically it was set in heaven, pre-creation of Earth, and the first murder happens. An angel is murdered, and Lucifer, because he's the smartest, he's given the task of investigating by God, and Michael, who's the Avenger, is going to pass judgment when Lucifer finds out who it was. And Lucifer eventually does find it was another angel that killed this angel in jealousy, and that is not a concept that the angels are familiar with. And it turns out God had given a couple of angels the attributes he planned to put in humans, and that's emotion and jealousy and rage, to see how it worked out. And it worked out that it turned someone into a murderer. And God said, excellent work, Satan. You solved the case. Michael passed judgment, and Michael executes the other angel. And Lucifer's going, this is not justice. That only happened because you fucked with them. If you hadn't fucked with them, this never would. This is your fault. And it's just foreshadowing that the rebellion doesn't happen at this point. But it's kind of like Lucifer is just going, this is not just. What the fuck? Sure, okay, that angel killed that angel, and you're going to pass judgment. But the killing only happened because you fucked with them and changed how they behaved. Yeah, Abigail wants to bring us back on track with The Lord of the Rings, which is fair. I mean, what's okay? Oh, look. Maybe we should go fucking cameras on. That would be the more fun way to talk about The Lord of the Rings. Musical David, you may be right. That may be where Beelzebub comes from. Mistranslation of Baal. And in fact, in some, I think, Christian things, Baal is a demonic form as well. Lord of Lies, Lord of the Flies. So, okay, that's fair. You can duck out, buddy. I know it's morning for you. If you have to. So, I think, Abigail, if you're in the mood, that's the way to talk Lord of the Rings, to actually talk, because let's fucking nerd out. Let's mad nerd out, because why the hell not? Good night or good morning, Gecko. Hope your day goes well, man. So, yes, Abigail. How are you, Abigail?
Hello. Hang on, I'm just going to turn my sound down a bit, because otherwise we'll echo.
All right.
Okay. Hi.
No, that sounds good.
I'm
Hello.
here to geek out about Lord of the Rings, because it's like my second favorite.
Hello, how am I doing?
Hello. Catherine,
Look,
so
I don't
snuggled up.
sound on. Is it gonna fiddle with some stuff?
Oh, you're giving me vertigo. Where are we running around your house?
It's better be Lord of the Rings related. Because yeah, nasty on the mission.
Catherine, this is crazy. Sorry, it's non-stop. I'm just muting you until you've settled down, because it's making mad noise. Okay, I think we're settled down now.
So how many times have you read the Silmarillion?
Catherine's coming to us from the other side of the room. And Aidsy's here too. Look, we're all here.
Hello.
What?
Hello. Anyway,
so,
I tried reading the first book of the Silmarillion to my son, and he didn't get it.
Wrong.
Sorry, Catherine's confused about something. Okay, that can't work, Catherine. That just is like huge noise and feedback and stuff. So,
hi, Nettie.
Hi, Nettie.
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry, I
I
screwed
have no
up.
idea what's going on with Catherine.
All right. So, I'm trying to work out if we are still getting echo there. It's kind of under control. Oh, it's no. I think I can hear me very low level in your background, Abigail, but it's not very distracting, so that's okay.
Okay.
And anyway, sorry, Ainsy, you haven't got to say a proper hello yet. How are you going, buddy?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It's good to say hello. Love in the background. It's good to see you. I wanted to say hello, and I wanted to ask everyone a question.
Yes, do it.
Right. So the question is this: what is the name of the anime about a political coup involving giving the protagonist cigarettes to show that they're in on the coup?
Okay, I'm out. I don't know. We'll have to consult the chat, see if anyone's an anime fan who knows that.
I'm not into anime. The closest I get to anime is watching Robotech.
That's close to anime. Don't worry about it.
It's anime adjacent.
No, it's anime. It's got peaches and mech.
Yeah, but it's very Americanized, and they stole like 4 different other animes and stitched them together.
Yeah, but why not?
Believe me, all mech stole 4 different other animes and stitched them together. All mech anime did that.
Yeah.
If you want to watch something that's stitched together that's virtually yaoi without the sex, It's called Old
Okay.
Noah.
You're Finland.
There's an Old
You're
Noah
Finland.
and there's Old
You're
Noah
Finland.
Zero. And they're
Okay.
the oddest things that have got just trope after trope after trope. And they don't actually go anywhere or do anything. Nothing changes. It's the strangest thing. Old Noah Zero. Old Noah is the one that's the weirdest one. It just starts nowhere and it finishes.
My drink
nowhere.
has an iceberg.
I love your iceberg.
Yeah.
Your iceberg.
AZ, repeat the anime. Repeat the anime. Okay, Catherine's excited about something.
I'm going to work.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's exciting. AZ, repeat your anime question because a couple of people in the chat maybe missed it and think they can answer it. So,
Okay, what is the name of the anime involving a political coup, and the participants indicate that they're involved in the coup by giving the protagonist a cigarette?
No.
interesting concept. We'll see if anyone answers it. So I'm just getting another glass, I think.
It's one of those ones, if you know it, it's fucking you know it. And it's a good anime. It's really good. I want to watch it.
This is still not Lord of the Rings related, I must say.
No.
Abigail's been trying to keep us on track with Lord of the Rings talk. So
Why?
Yeah.
because we're geeking out over Lord of the Rings.
Specifically, the
I have it, and it's like that big, and it's so old. It was published from a church, and it was published in age 5, I think, was this reprint. So this reprint is older than me.
There you go.
Honestly, I haven't actually read Lord of the Rings for a couple of years, but I try to read the Silmarillion at least once a year.
Okay.
Okay. Help me out here, Abigail, because I respect your opinion on so many things.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Silmarillion. What happens?
Oh my God! You just asked the biggest question.
It starts with the creation of the world and the creation of the Valar, which are like angelic demigods, and goes all the way to the Third Age with the creation of the rings and the fall of Numenor, and yeah, like it's all that in between. So
it's not Code Geass, but thank you very much, Jen.
Yeah.
And it would be impossible for me to.
But
tell.
When I read the Silmarillion, it was like this person showed up, and this person showed up, and the son of this person showed up, and this person's cousin's fucking auntie's fucking barber showed up, and this person's fucking horse fucking livery fucking stable boy showed up. And then there was a big battle.
Yeah, well, there were several battles in the first age in Beleriand, in the battles against Morgoth, but and that's when a lot of that takes place. But
it's like, you know, there's a big battle, and it's like, well, that was your battle. You've had it. Enjoy. Now we just fucking go through lists of fucking names again.
It does get a bit dense.
Then there's
like
a
that.
silver tree.
It's a history.
Okay, so the list of names and all that, that's after the age of the trees, and there was a silver tree and a golden tree, Telperion, and I always forget the name of the golden tree, and Melkor, aka Morgoth, led Ungoliant, the queen of spiders, to the trees to basically suck all the light out of them. And it was the two trees, like all the Valar came together and put all their magic in it to try and restore them, but all they could get was 2 fruit out of it. So the gods threw them into the sky. The the fruit from the golden tree became the sun, and the fruit from the silver tree became the moon. And Feanor, the king of the Noldor, who are the crafty elves, had made from the light of the two trees 3 gems. It was his masterwork of creation, and they were called the Silmarils. And a lot of the First Age, Morgoth stole the Silmarils when he destroyed the trees, and so the Noldor elves vowed to get them back, and they went forth out of Valinor, the Undying Lands, back into Middle Earth, and that's the tale of the First Age, and that's where all the big battles happened, and great deeds, and the coming of men, and all of that.
Yeah, and the elves are kind of like the Jedi in that they're colossal fuck-ups, because the entire story is of them losing everything multiple times.
The Noldor are. The Cinder elves were a bit more sensible, and the Teleri elves, the shipwrights, they were very hard done by the Noldor. There was the first kinslaying was over their ships. They refused to give the Noldor the ships, and so they slew them. But because elves being immortal, their fate is tied to the earth itself. So when their body is slain, they go back to the halls of Mandos, Mandos being the Valar, the god of death, waiting. The halls of waiting run by Mandos, waiting for the end of the world, basically. And at Mandos's beck and call, he can just get one of the elves and give them a new body and come back. And that has happened a couple of times.
So
Luthien,
is back,
who
and she's pissed.
Luthien, that happened with
fucking stick you with a knife. It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Except it would not be as exciting, and things wouldn't happen in it. It's just I have a problem with the JRR in the sense that the guy doesn't. It's like I saw Jackson do the movies, and I went, "Nice movies, Jackson. Good movies, Jackson." Even with Jackson's Juniors, everything was so slow. Like fucking
you think
one of them was basically 4 hobbits walk into a dark fucking valley for a movie.
I think you're misremembering them pretty badly, but
yeah.
and possibly getting it mixed up with The Hobbit, which the Hobbit trilogy was fucking an abomination. But
yeah, that was studio interference, and
shameless
everyone
cash
who
grab
worked
is
on
what
that
it
movie
was.
hated it.
Yeah,
Peter Jackson hated it.
200? Like 200 pages?
It also fucked up New Zealand filmmaking, because the New Zealand government actually introduced laws to make it possible to screw over the New Zealand film industry to get that movie made.
Right.
Or get those 3 movies made.
Yeah.
Because it was awful, and everyone hated it.
How did they do that?
I don't know the details, but I can point you to a YouTube video by Lindsay Ellis, who does a really good treatment on it. It's got something to do with union labor and basically the studio wanting to pay as little as possible, but the film industry of New Zealand wanting to have a livable wage.
Okay, so that's why they went to New Zealand in the first place.
As long as you're not robbing the production company.
I can't hear a word you're saying, Catherine. Can't really understand you.
Am I too far away? I'm probably too far away.
Yeah. It's very cool that you set yourself up the comfy zone there, but your voice echoes a lot, makes it very hard to hear you properly.
So yeah, this film studio threatened to take the Hobbit movies overseas somewhere else where it was a lot cheaper. So the New Zealand government
Hollywood does that all the time. That's why the Matrix was made in Australia.
Screw them over.
It was because the dollar was running at such a low exchange rate that they could get the Matrix made in Australia so cheaply that they virtually could fund Fox Studios and get the movie made for cheaper than they could at Hollywood. That's why they went to New Zealand to do The Hobbit. Now, as it is, it so happens that New Zealand and Australia has really talented filmmakers, and Australia accidentally has some really brilliant CG effects artists. Brilliant CG artists.
I have a friend who's a CG artist for ILM, and some of his work is absolutely amazing. He has a credit in one of the Star Wars movies, one of the sequel movies.
Yeah.
But those credits go on for ages. They have hundreds of thousands of CG names in them.
It is always fascinating with the big budget special effects movies, the literally thousands of names that are in the credits. Like, fuck me, so many people work on these movies.
Yeah.
Like, they farm out the effects to dozens of independent production houses because it's so complicated and it takes so long. A whole bunch of people have to do work concurrently, because if one studio did all the work, it would take 10 years to make the film. Ridiculous.
But to get back on track,
with the Lord of the Rings,
Silmarillion is not one book. It's because it was published posthumously by Tolkien's son. He collated a lot of the works, and the first book is it's only like a chapter long, really, but it deals with the creation of the world, and it reads like poetry. It's so beautiful. It's when you get into the first stage that you get the biblical name listing. Hell. And especially when men are born, when men appear on the scene, and because they're so short-lived, in respect to the time frames of the book, that like you're dealing with him and his son and his son and his son and his son, and there's just this elf sitting here this whole time thinking, Jesus Christ, these men just die and come back all the time, and what's it's his son, it's kids, and geez, whereas thousands of years old.
That Tolkien originally wanted to do it like, I'm not sure if it was The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, as a poem.
Tolkien loved the Norse legends, many of which are told in poetry.
Yeah.
And he loved history. He wrote the books as an excuse to invent the languages of... He was a linguist.
He invented the languages first. He was always so disappointed that England didn't have strong mythologies. So, because like England has been invaded so many times and its history rewritten. Yeah. And he was always very disappointed. So his aim with all of his works was to create that mythology, and he started with the languages because he was a linguist. And of course, it was shaped by his experience in World War I, where all his friends died. And,
being in the trenches. And he got trench fever, and then went back after being hospitalized. Then got trench fever again, and was basically pensioned out of the war at that point. Second time he got trench fever, his whole battalion was overrun, and it's like 99% likely he would have been killed if he didn't get trench fever. And it's like, so what else? This is the thing that shits me about World War One more than World War Two. What else did we miss out on? If we were this close to missing out on what was basically the biggest work of fiction of the 20th century, what did we miss out on? Of the millions of mostly young men who were fucking slaughtered, what music did we miss out on? What literature did we miss out on?
Think about.
Speaking of missing out on, you know how World War One basically started because of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand?
Yeah.
You know, he was meant to show up the day he was assassinated. They were going to assassinate him at a certain place at a certain time. And he didn't show up, or the shooter missed his shot or something.
The initial plot failed.
Yeah, and so the assassin was walking home and just happened to run into him.
No, worse than that. The assassin was depressed and was having a coffee in a cafe, and the Archduke's car stalled out the front of the cafe, and he just went, "Fuck me," and just walked up and went, "Bang, bang, bang!" Like, if you're a big believer in cosmic forces, that was a whole bunch of cosmic forces that came together and went, "No, this shit's gonna happen."
If you ever want to piss off a Serbian, say that Serbia is responsible for both world wars. Look it up. It's true.
Yeah. If you ever want to piss off a Serbian, just say, "Wow, it's really hard to understand your Croatian accent."
Well, the reason World War II started was because Hitler blamed the Jews for getting, because basically Germany got fucked over after World War One with the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah. Hitler was a fairly revenge-minded dude, and he had rather grand ideas about a global domination that was never, ever, ever, ever going to work, but he was convinced it would work.
Yeah, but it was because of that one treaty.
In the chat about England not having mythology. England has mythology, but it's borrowed from all the different peoples that have invaded.
Yeah. England does not have a mythology like Norse mythology, like Greek mythology, like Roman mythology.
Also,
England does not have that.
Also,
oh, Jesus. What? Someone's thing just went through.
I want to leave with the audio. That was me, because I'm very crackly.
Okay.
I'm
sorry,
AD. As well.
So, yeah, England's mythology also is written in glyphs, in petroglyphs, in stones, very old stones, and is very animist and very pagan, and no one's ever bothered to put it together because it's been invaded over and over and over again, and you always build your temples on top of the last guy's temple because it's better. You know, Stonehenge, the one we see, is the 5th version.
Yeah. Still doesn't fly.
It's the, well, you know.
Well, that time a dwarf almost crushed it. Like,
yeah. Yes, that was a bad moment when that dwarf almost crushed it in the Final Tap concert.
I'm glad you got that reference.
I was actually referencing The Goodies. It was one of their truly weird episodes where it was back in time and they were in sort of a very primitive phase of England, and Bill's saying to Tim, like, you know, we're crap, we never get anything done. And Tim says, "Oh, what about Stonehenge?" "Oh, what about Stonehenge? It took 100 years and $1 billion. It still doesn't fly."
Yeah, I can't look at how they made that. Kind of like the pyramids.
Actually, Stonehenge has been shown to be very easy to make by a guy.
And they found the quarry where the rocks came from.
By a guy in a backyard in Berkshire. He basically got several logs and buckets of sand, and he put the trilith, the big stone, down on the ground, put a log under it and a wedge under it, and took his buckets of sand and went over the other end and tipped it like a seesaw, and then put another log under, and then got his buckets of sand and over the other side and tipped it, and then by the afternoon, he had it as high as he needed to. Then he got 3 mates to position it exactly where they wanted, and then they just dropped it down. Basically, with 50 men and good coordination, they reckon they could have had the fucking thing up in a month.
But the fun thing is the stones came from 100 miles away. That's the bit that took years, if not generations, cutting the stone. And they worked out how they moved the stone as well. They go, oh no, they definitely had the technology to move the stone. But then they worked out how long it would have taken. It's like, oh, so some, druid said, I've had a vision. We're going to do this with big fuck off rocks, and it's definitely here. And okay, how? Oh, I found the proper stone. It's over. Why don't we build it where the stone is? No. I ate these special mushrooms. I ate a whole bunch of them, and God talked to me, and we are getting those specific rocks that are over where your cousin lives 5 days away, and they're going here. And that's the bit that took years, if not generations, to move the fucking... They can do it, but it was real slow. The actual raising of them, whether it was a month or a year, that was nothing compared to getting the rocks from the quarry to where they set them up. That was the incentive. And that was just fucking druids kept doing acid. Well, they were doing mushrooms, not acid.
And the other thing, too, is they keep on saying, and they say this around the world, you couldn't put a cigarette paper between the rocks between these fucking massive megalithic sites. And you see modern stonemasons with 2 fucking rocks making straight cracks down fucking stones and shaving bevels in fucking rocks because it's a trade. They actually know what they're doing. They're actually really good at it. They're actually really clever at making stone shaped. That's why they call Sydney a sandstone butterstone, because you can shape it into whatever shape you like. We've got some of the most intricate carvings in the world in Sydney, because that sandstone is so easy to work that the fucking masons loved it. And so the Egyptians and the fucking Mayans and
the South and Central Americans,
they're all just good masons. Crazy. If you put your mind to it and you've got a good fucking societal support system, you can specialize in trades. And as soon as you can specialize in trades, you can get technologies to buffer. And this is where I was going with all this. Was World War One. We lost so many young men and women. Remember that World War II was run by the scientists who were children and soldiers in World War One.
Oh, okay.
And those scientists took us to the moon.
Yeah.
How much more would we have gotten if they'd have left the rest of them alive?
Yep, absolutely. What we missed out on because of World War One is it boggles the mind.
The only good thing that happened with World War One was the breakdown of the English class system as we were left it. It was entrenched. It was stagnant. It was basically had the world by the balls, and the empire wasn't going anywhere. If you were the wrong skin color, you were basically going to work in a sugar mill for the rest of your life. And if you're Australian, you'd be patronised and betrayed every 15 seconds for the grand price of scratching a living out of a barren rock.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the adoration. I still don't understand the adoration of England by Australia for the countless betrayals we got from them, all the way back from before Federation. As soon as we got federated, we went to the Boer War and got blamed for British war crimes.
All the breaker did was execute people he knew were terrorists. And the British were like, "Sir, that's not how we do things." And he's like, "Dude, they were killing people, so I fucking shot them."
So
and
I fucking
they were
shot
prisoners.
Yeah, by the way, you asked me to.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. You asked me to go through and fucking stop the terrorists. And by stop, you meant kill, because you said kill the terrorists.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we've got that written down nowhere." And the broker and his mates went, "That was a fuck up. Get them to sign first."
Yeah. But they killed people who were
today, which shits me, because I'm seeing this on the news now. There's fucking inquiries about Australians in Afghanistan doing war crimes, and it's like, oh, really? They were doing war crimes, were they?
Yeah.
War crimes that Australian SAS did, and I'm going, right, 3. There were 3, were there? And fucking there were 15,000 Americans running around, special forces running around Afghanistan doing no war crimes at all. None.
Abigail's breaking out the heavy artillery book-wise, I think. Bring it.
These are maps of.
Oh my God.
I've got a map of Numenor, a map of Middle Earth.
When they were saying sailing to the west, that meant dying, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
No. That's the special place the elves go where they can live in immortality, and mortals can't go there.
During the first stage, before it sank into the sea, and these mountains, the mountains here, are on the very west.
Abigail froze, or I froze, one of the two.
Third age. All of that was sunk under the sea, and Angband is up here, Sauron's fortress, and where Morgoth was. Gondolin is right there, and Doriath is where Melian the Maya and the Elf King lived. And so that's one map.
Yeah,
I should, but I don't want.
Side reference while you're unfolding maps, you brought up Lindsay Ellis. For those who don't know Lindsay Ellis, she does very good video essays. A lot of them are on film and politics. Her one's on The Hobbit. There's 3 separate half-hour videos. The first one's called The Hobbit, A Long Expected Autopsy. The second one's called The Hobbit, The Battle of the 5 Studios. And the third one's called The Hobbit, The Desolation of Warners, where she deconstructs that whole studio stuff that Abigail's talking about. So, Abigail, next map.
Middle Earth. So those mountains I pointed out, that's over here, Ered Luin, or the Blue Mountains. So Beleriand is like over there, but it got sunk after the War of Wrath.
Where's Katoomba?
So Arnor up here, Gondor down here, Mordor. Everyone's probably familiar with that. Everyone knows this map, so.
All right, where did Frodo live?
I won't dwell on that one. Yeah, everyone knows that one. What's this one? This is Numenor. So not many people have seen this one, but this is the island of Numenor, which during the Second Age, this was the gift that was given to the men for fighting Morgoth, and it sunk. This is Tolkien's Atlantis myth. So when the men of Numenor, When after Sauron crafted the One Ring and took over Middle Earth, the men of Numenor were like, "Oh, I don't think that should happen." So they were super powerful, and they marched in, and Sauron just basically surrendered because he would have just been crushed. And so that's when the men of Numenor founded Arnor and Gondor, and they brought Sauron back, and Sauron corrupted the Numenorians and made them jealous of the elves because the elves could see Valinor just on the horizon, and they were never allowed to go there because they're mortal. So Sauron corrupted them and made them sail into the west to conquer Valinor, and the gods were like, nope. So a great wave came over and sunk all of Numenor.
So, all right. How many? Okay, there's one ring to call them all. How many rings are there?
Okay, can I say the poem? Because I still know the poem. I still know. 3 rings for the Elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their throne halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. So the elves had 3 rings, which they made, which were not corrupted by Sauron.
Yes.
Sauron made rings for the dwarf lords, which he did corrupt but the ones he really corrupted.
The dwarves were immune to the effects of the rings.
Okay, my bad.
It made them even more greedy.
Yeah.
And made them even more like lust for gold and jewels, but it didn't corrupt them like it corrupted the men.
Well, yeah, the men were the only ones who were actually turned into wraiths.
Yeah. And the elves, like you said, they made their own rings. I forget who I'm bad with names. But the famous elf who made the 3 elven rings using the knowledge from Sauron, who was in disguise. Thank you. I take that as a compliment, Kirsten.
Absolutely. We said this was going to be mad nerd out. This was absolute mad nerd out.
Using the knowledge of Sauron in the ringcraft, he created the 3 elven rings, which is why the One Ring could be used against them. So when Sauron revealed his plan and made the One Ring, the elves, being magical, they can kind of see the future, and they foresaw that this would happen like just before he put the One Ring on, and they took their rings off and were fine. But when Sauron lost the ring, they could use their rings again, and the rings, they because Tolkien's world, everything's in a kind of a state of decline. What was that? And so the Elven Rings, the magic of the Elven Rings was all about maintaining the magical world that the elves were used to. So that's why Lorien, where Galadriel lives, her ring, the Ring of Water, maintained that area as the Elven Kingdom on Middle Earth. So the rings, the Elven Rings, was all about maintaining that level, because the magic was in decline all the way from the First Age and onwards, and that's why the elves had to go into the west to the Undying Lands, because if they stayed on Middle Earth, all their magic and majesty would have drained out of them as well. Elves are very tied to the earth. So,
Speaking of Star Trek, I am going to completely change the subject just briefly, because this is a thing that I wanted to do. Kirsten is in the chat. Earlier when I was talking about, I'm almost out of marionette curacao, and I was thinking of getting some more marionette liqueur, like some more curacao, and possibly also their cassis, and maybe even their amaretto. But I wanted to sound out Kirsten about any other Australian liqueur makers who maybe make a curacao or something else I want to have a go at. Stella's okay. Some people are hearing your audio is a bit crackly, Abigail, but I think we just have to hold you on with potential technical issues.
My audio is super crackly, and here I have a map of the Greenwood, aka Mirkwood, which was featured in The Hobbit.
The spiders live there.
Oh,
Yes.
lovely.
It used to be called Greenwood the Great, but when Sauron went to Gol Dol Gur, I don't think I pronounced that right.
Dol
When
Guldur.
Sauron started living there, he brought a lot of darkness to the forest, and that's why it became the Mirkwood. And
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when
you got giant
left
spiders.
Gol Guldur,
That's why
when
they
he
call
left,
my house
he got kicked out by the
because
White Council.
The boss of the house
as-
brought a lot of darkness to the house.
Yeah.
And he's fucking not listening to me at all.
Yeah.
So,
I thought
Okay,
I was getting a rise out of him, but no.
And one more nerd question, because I've always loved this name. I think it's one of the names for Sauron, the Witch King of Angmar. That's Sauron,
That
isn't it?
is not Sauron. That is
No?
one. That is the Angmar was during the Second Age, and the start of the Third Age. Angmar. Oh yeah. So no, sorry, not at the Second Age. The start of the Third Age, because by the time you get to Lord of the Rings, the Third Age is already 3,000 years. So when Sauron lost the ring and was defeated by the last alliance, the ring wraiths, they persisted. They were still around. The Witch King was the leader of the ring wraiths.
I have always loved. Okay, yes, the Lord of the Nazgul was the Witch King of Angmar. Sorry, I mixed it up.
Yes,
I just love it because I just picture someone who's called the Witch King. I just imagine him in like either black leather or black not spandex. What's the rubber called?
Latex.
Latex. He either wears black rubber or black leather, like very Darth Vader, and just like he does snaps all the time. Like when he's talking to his enemies, like, yeah, take that, bitch. So I imagine the Witch King as being, besides being really powerful, also being really sassy and just sort of, yes, girlfriend.
I love the idea of the Witch King giving you a bit of, no, he didn't, and then someone turning like just catching fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's the sort of shit I see.
So the Witch King of Angmar is responsible for defeating Arnor. And Arnor was the greatest king. That's where the king lived, King of Arnor and Gondor. He lived in Arnor. But after the king died, the Arnor separated into four different kingdoms, and Angmar, the Witch King, just diced and sliced them up. It wasn't until Gondor came to aid Arnor that the Witch King was defeated.
Yeah. I also just want to throw in from the chat, Slumeth on Twitch is asking how many Billies has Aidsy had tonight, and I bet Aidsy wishes he'd had a couple, but I think that's not even the CDB vape you've got there. That's just the flavored vape you've got there.
Or is it the flavored vape? This is the CD vape, which reminds me, it's about time for me to have about 5 minutes on this.
Yeah, calm down.
James. Now, for some reason, we've now got people popping in on Twitch going, Aidsy, are you okay? You okay? So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes I'm quiet. I know.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think I'm out ADing on this Lord of the Rings stuff
Oh yeah, but
Edgeways.
you're
What did- I'm sorry,
taking on.
Hear what you said?
I said I'm out ADing on all this Lord of the Rings stuff, and you can't get a word in edgeways.
Abigail, you get out AG me anytime you want, and you know how. You know how. You know how
Okay.
you do that. And
For,
Yeah.
for,
Save
for
it the
anyone,
after party.
for anyone who thinks that innuendo, you have no idea. Okay, this is,
never
Wow.
play sex chicken with AG ever, because everybody wins.
Fun.
We used to do that at gatherings all the time. The young fellas used to play sex chicken with AZ, and then people would come up and say, "Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. He won't blink."
yeah, it's when you gay chicken, when you go into pretending two het guys go into as if they're going to kiss, and it's who's going to back off first. AZ doesn't understand that part of the rules. The backing off.
Oh no, I understand the rules. I just think
You
it's
need to vote.
like fucking keep coming, son. You know, we're all gonna win here. We're all gonna
Yeah.
win. No losers. Everyone gets something to take home. You'll get trauma.
Trying to think what the Oprah line there would be, but like you get a car, yeah.
You get a job, eh? Everyone get a job.
That all sounds fair, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
All right.
Any more
So
Lord of the Rings
if I
questions?
wanted to be a Nazgul and
Hmm.
ride around on my own personal dragon, which sports car
they weren't
wise is a
dragons,
little
they were
bit,
fell beasts.
hey,
They were
weren't
fell
dragons,
beasts,
they were
not
fell beasts.
dragons.
Yeah,
What's
so
that?
all right.
Dragons are a specific thing in Lord of the Rings. So in the hierarchy of beings, there's God, the Valar, the Maya, of which Gandalf and Saruman are one, and dragons are in that. Dragons, Balrogs, Maya that were corrupted by Melkor and made to take one form, and that's how dragons came about. And Galacon, the first great dragon,
And
was
Calagon the Black.
bigger than 3 mountains. He was huge. When he was killed, he destroyed an entire mountain just by falling on it. He could have eaten Smaug in one gulp. He was that big.
Nice.
And so the dragons are specific beings who are Maya, and they're on par with Balrogs, probably a bit more powerful than Balrogs.
Yeah.
That's why Gandalf was able to take on the Balrog Durin's Bane in Moria, because
Because he's
Gandalf
actually a demigod.
is an angelic being.
Yeah.
Given, he's a Maya, and when on the bridge of Khazad-dûm, when he says his lines, "I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor, flame of Udun, you shall not pass." He's basically giving his credentials. It's servant of the secret fire means the secret fire is what God used to create the world. Being a servant of the secret fire is basically him saying he's a Maya. He's not some old man. Wielder of the flame of Arnor, he's saying he's it's basically the same thing. The flame of Arnor is it's all credentials.
Yeah. The short version is Gandalf is saying to the Balrog, "Step back, bitch, else I'ma fuck you up." And that is basically what he's saying. The Balrog's going, "I'm the baddest bitch here," and Gandalf,
is
speak
like,
to the hand, speak to the hand. And also, because AZ can't see the chat, actually, you have 2 mad fans on Twitch at the moment, AZ. Tootsie James and Plummet are just like, I don't know who Shoe Nice is. They're referring to someone called Shoe Nice, saying you look like him.
Yeah.
Lucy James says you look like Shoe Nice. Slummer says Shoe Nice can't hang with Legend Aidsy, mate. And so Tusi James throws back, Snoop Dogg be tripping over Aidsy, though. And it's like, for real. And so basically, you've got two mad fans on Twitch at the
I
moment.
tell you what, every time I have a haircut and a shave, fucking...
Yeah, no, fucking sex
You
on a
know?
stick, buddy.
every time.
So
I've
one
got to
last
fucking do that more.
One-
Have a
one
haircut
last
and a
thing.
shave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put aside money each week for drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, good budgeting. Budgeting is good.
Mm-hmm.
Solid choice.
That's a good plan.
That's
Sorry,
got
Abigail
nothing
wanted
to
to
do
throw
with
in one
it.
more
Sorry,
nerd
that's-
thing.
One more thing. When Gandalf says the Darkfire will not avail you, Flame of Udun. Udun is where the Balrogs were made. That's where Morgoth had his fortress of Angband. And so Gandalf is basically saying, I know what you are, and you shall not pass. Like it's just like giving his credentials, calling the Balrog out. I know what you are. It will not help you. Step back, bitch. So yeah, that was the last thing.
Step back,
because most
bitch.
humans wouldn't know what the fuck a Balrog is except some big flamey demon. So yeah, Gandalf is like, I know what you are. I know how to defeat you.
Flying around on my fell beast, what I could say is my mid-engined fell beast, because that would pull the fucking chicks. If you just rocked up to the party on that and said, "Park that, don't scratch it," you know, you had guys and bitches coming up to you going, "So you got a line for someone who'll blow you?" Sure. And because that's what it'd be, who you'd be. You'd be that guy.
Yeah.
You'd have a funny hat on. I saw the movies. He had a funny
Yeah.
hat on. It's like, dude, it's a crown or a helmet. It's not both.
Yeah.
You
I want to
know.
go nerd in a different direction. What you said about park it, don't scratch it, made me think. Neil Gaiman wrote a comic called The Death of Batman, which is very, very weird. It's supposed to be Batman's funeral, and all these people are showing up. But Batman doesn't know if he's just having a vision or something, or if he's really dead.
Yeah.
But when my favorite, what you made me think of, when the Joker pulls up to the funeral, and there's a kid out the front of the thing, and the Joker says, "Park my car," and the kid shits himself and it's like, "I can't, because I'm doomed. If you'll say I scratched your car and you'll kill me. Please don't make me do that." And the Joker just looks at him with his sort of deadpan or even just disappointed look and said, "Kid, I kill people when it's funny. What could possibly be funny about killing you?" It's just,
If I was a kid, I would take that.
Oh, that'd crush your day, wouldn't it?
Yep, that's good.
that was Joker saying you're not worth killing, but
It's crushing
yeah.
my day.
Well, I mean, good for being not worth killing.
Was this chick had basically been date raped by this footy head at school, and everyone fucking knew, but no one could prove it. And he had basically gotten through his interrogation, which was they did a fair dinkum job. They did it for 2.5 days. There was an 8-person panel, and Angry knows how this works. It's a Catholic interrogation. They sit you in a chair and they put you in a U shape of teachers usually asking you questions over and over again. And you've got to basically just answer them. And when you want to go to the toilet, you can't go to the toilet. When you're hungry, you can't eat, and you can't drink, and you can't do anything. I've pissed my pants during one of these things.
And then you want you to confess.
I said, "Guys, I'm really going to wet myself if you don't let me go." And they went, "Well, you can wait for a little while longer." And I did, and went, "Oh, look at that, you messed yourself." And I said, "Well, I did tell you." Anyway, so he gets through that, and so he fucking then decides to rub salt into the wound, and there's all these chicks around her basically protecting her, and she says, look, don't fucking try anything on. You think that you've gotten away with something grand and amazing, and you think you've changed me and my life forever. I just want you to know that I don't hate you. I nothing you. I don't think of you when I wake up in the morning. I don't think of you in the daytime. I don't think of you in the nighttime. I nothing you. You are no one. You're a single drunken night which is going to go away. And you are going to fade into the distance and be the nobody that you truly are. And it was gorgeous. Fucking the individuals around him howled with fucking laughter. It was very prophetic. It happened to him. She and pretty much the rest of the school nothinged him for the rest of the year that he was there. He left after that year because he was just the guy in the corner that no one talked to. He would come and sit down and have his lunch, and people would stand up and walk away.
Ooh, yeah.
It was like,
Sort of jock. Anyway,
no one has any respect or fucking concern for you whatsoever.
Yeah.
The staff had no concern or respect for him whatsoever. I mean, this is in the days when they were really fucking going for me. But they were, yeah. For him, they were just fucking, they smeared into fucking oblivion. The students had effectively excommunicated him. Anyway, my fell beast. Where would I pick
Easy Soul Beast.
Sorry, what was your question, Easy?
My fell beast. Where would I pick one up?
Probably in the east of Middle Earth or somewhere in Mordor. I think Sauron raised them. Sauron had some of the power of Morgoth, where he could corrupt other creatures and turn them into other things. Morgoth couldn't make things brand new, but he could corrupt other things. So that's probably what happened.
Website,
but I'm not sure.
Go fell beast, mid-engined, fucking needs to fly, and then get a coupon deal on a ring.
Yeah. There's an online coupon.
To go shopping in Mordor.
And then I'm sweet. You
Yeah.
know?
So we're also going to interrupt you a little bit of cocktail talk for the bros who love Aidsy on Twitch. They noticed me hitting the booze. This is called a Floridita cocktail that I'm making. 1.5 ounces of rum, and I've used. Okay, it's a little complicated. Some Australians imported some Caribbean rums, aged Caribbean rums, so they were dark rums, and then they carbon filtered them that took the color out. So it was clear, and then they infused that with coconut and some other stuff. So it's got a slightly yellow color again. So it's pretty complicated, but it's an infused rum, and so 1.5 ounces of rum, 1/2 ounce of sweet red vermouth, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, and then just a dash of grenadine and a dash of white creme de cacao. And so it's a super fucking tropical drink. Give it a shake.
Cool.
Give it a shake. I'm not bothering to do anything very fussy with the glass. Just putting in my glass with my magic invisible ice. Look at that, just carrying.
Big invisible eyes. It's better than Astro Boy because it's got bum guns.
So
Ooh.
got that color from the vermouth and grenadine. So it's a nicely, if you were really fussy, you'd put it in a tropical looking glass and you'd put a whole bunch of fucking,
Fruity bits.
decorations on it. And
Do you know what you could do? Because Halloween's coming up. What you could do is you could get some of those fake teeth with fruit in them and garnish your glass with fake teeth and fruit.
Yeah.
Like blood oranges.
I saw this dude on YouTube and his garnish, it was a lychee. So you know what lychees look like, those little white fruits. A lychee with a blackberry stuck in the middle of it and then some fake blood. So it looks like an eyeball. It's fucking fantastic. It's the best garnish. It's just like a lychee with a blackberry in the hole and some fake blood put on it, and it looks like a bleeding eyeball. It's the best garnish.
That'd be
Angry,
awesome.
I have a question for you.
Mm?
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, do you know what this is?
It's cool.
Ooh, really? I do not recognize it though.
Oh, I think it's the logo from ZZ Top.
No.
No?
It's the lieutenant ranking insignia, an actual prop used in the Wrath of Khan. From someone who works in the movie industry.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it was just a throwaway kind of extra in the background on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
I now have it. It was in the movie, so it's a lieutenant rank, and it went up on their lapel up here. If you remember, they had the white strip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
The uniforms, it went up here.
Wow.
I just dug out my jewelry box because I have a reproduction of the One Ring, but it's not in here. But
you're gonna hate to lose that.
Yeah,
Is it on a chain or just?
It wasn't an expensive one, but I treasure it because my son gave it to me. So it must be in one of my drawers somewhere here.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look for it. I also have very shiny, but I have
Star Trek.
I like this one better than the Next Generation one, which is the oval. So, but it's quite heavy. At PAX, I wear this at PAX every year, and I've had so many people just come up to me and say they want to buy it because it looks amazing, and they couldn't find one anywhere. And I just got this on eBay.
Hang on. Can you? Sorry, Abigail. You said you like that one better because the Next Generation one is an oval. What do you?
You know how it has a background that's an oval. I think I've got one over there somewhere, but it's a bit messy. So it's got the delta, but then the back of it has an oval. This one has these two stripy things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like this one better. It looks a bit more 90s, I guess.
Because I know what the symbols are supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean it's the three main empires or zones of planets, in that shape of space, unified by their togetherness. That
I haven't heard that, but it would make sense. But there were 4 founding members of the Federation, not 3. So I don't know. Yeah.
But the shape of the area they lived in. So there's one in the center, one in.
That would be Earth. Yeah, Tella, Vulcan, Andor, and Earth in the middle.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to slightly diverge because I want to answer Kirsten and Annette in the chat. Kirsten's saying she needs a new shaker, but I think she doesn't like Boston tin shakers. I also hate Boston tin shakers. I absolutely prefer this one. the Parisian. I'm not really down with a cobbler. A cobbler is one that kind of looks like this, where you can take the lid off and there's a bit of a filter thing.
They're different.
Yeah, I like this one is the Parisian. The Boston is like 2 pint glasses that go together. They're usually metal.
You're gonna break that one.
Oh, I'm so paranoid about breaking the Boston one. It's like a pint glass and a metal tin like this, and I'm so paranoid of breaking it. I hate the Boston shaker. I like the Parisian. The Parisian is my favorite. And also, Kirsten brought up Cocktails by Tempest, who I think is Australian, is an Instagram feed, and he does the most mind-blowing garnishes. Kirsten brought up his Halloween one. Let me share this with you. I found it. Look at that.
Oh, there it is.
Look at the garnish he's done with that.
Nice.
It's orange.
Ah,
Nice.
Madness. That's madness.
That's very nice.
that is so cool.
What are the stitches in the mouth, cherry stalks?
I actually don't. He doesn't say what they are, so I don't know. Kirsten reckons the Parisian is hard to get apart. I think a Boston shaker is harder to get apart than a Parisian. That's my personal thing. But your mileage may vary.
They're hard to get apart if you bang them.
Oh yeah, that's the
them.
thing. Yes, excellent point, AZ. With the Parisian, you don't bang them together. You just sit the thing on top and hold it. If you bang it, you're up shit creek. You just put the top on and hold it. You definitely do not bang it. Whereas with the Boston, you have to bang them together. And I always think I'm going to break, because my Boston shaker is a pint glass and a metal tin, and I fucking think they're going to break when I'm doing it. And also, Annette said next Saturday night is Halloween, and it is my date night, so we have to have a Halloween party on the Friday night. So
I have my costume. I have one. I'm going to a Halloween party next Saturday, so I won't be able to make it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to a Halloween party because I'm not allowed to go to a party.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
No.
I'm hardly allowed outside.
Yeah.
And that's not been a problem. Tell me,
Yes.
was today the day that the AFL Grand Final was on?
Yes, it was. Abigail, did you hear?
Who
Sorry,
won?
I accidentally hit back on my
I think it's
keyboard.
still happening.
What's
I
still
think
happening?
AFL 's still happening. The AFL. So yes. Oh, so Kirsten, you're saying double Boston metal tins. Yeah, but okay, this is purely in terms of my YouTube channel. A Boston shaker with a glass one, I can do video shots of stuff going into the glass and it looks cool.
Yeah.
If I do it in the tin, you don't see it, so it doesn't look cool. Annette wants us to goth up on Friday night. We could. Who wants to goth up on Friday night?
My costume.
I haven't gothed up since I was like early 20s.
Exactly. I'm the same.
I could try and goth up. I'll see if I've got
I'll
any money
try.
left over for some
It is
makeup
Halloween.
on Thursday.
I made my Halloween cocktails last night on the stream that I'm going to edit and put the video up on Wednesday, so people have a couple of days for Halloween inspiration. One blood red one, and I decided that's a Halloween cocktail just because it looks blood red, and the other two are for the name. I did the Corpse Reviver and the logical extension of the Corpse Reviver, the Zombie. So and that's also why I was kind of hammered last night, because the Zombie in particular has a fuck ton of alcohol in it, including some overproof rum. So I was pretty 4 sheets to the wind last night after. Well, I made 3 cocktails for my YouTube channel, and then I think I had 3 other drinks on top. I had 2 or 3 other drinks on top of that.
Wow. Well,
So
you know this thing? I wasn't in last night.
What were you doing last night?
I was resting. I have to rest.
That is excellent to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Annette, you had your first zombie last week. Zombie's fun because some people will be purists and say, this is the zombie recipe. Personally, as I said when I was making the video, the short version of a recipe for a zombie cocktail is all the rums and all the fruit juices. You have at least three or four different sorts of rum in it and at least 3 or 4 different fruit juices in it. And I personally think you should feel free and liberated to mix that up as much as you want. But the zombie is a let's get fucked up drink. I'm going to have about 4 or 5 ounces of rum and 4 or 5 ounces of fruit juice in one drink with lots of ice and fall off my bar stool. That's basically what a zombie is. So I've also done clarified zombies, which are great. It goes because if you mix up a whole bunch of rums and fruit juices, the drink tends to be very dark and murky. And the drink I made was a very sort of browny orange thing at the end of it. But if you clarify that, it comes out as this brilliant sort of golden orange color. And it's really beautiful looking. And it takes the edge off some of the alcohol taste, which is really fucking dangerous because you go, yeah, I'll drink a whole bunch of these. And in one drink, you're having like 4 or 5 shots of alcohol. And it's just like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Charlie's back. I had to text your friend because he's
Charlie? So I looked up the AFL Grand Final and it's still happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought it would still be happening. Charlie's saying a friend is at a really boring birthday party. Have some people actually reached the stage where a social engagement is boring? I mean, in Melbourne, we haven't had a social engagement in 6 months. It's just like,
Wow.
some other people have actually reached the stage where they're bored by social interaction. Oh my God.
Wow.
Don't understand.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, but I mean, you're probably craving it.
That's social privilege right there.
Yeah, yes. That's
I
social privilege.
heard that term. I like that. Social privilege.
Charlie says her friend's telling her everyone at the party's a normie. And it's like, yeah, okay, a bunch of Queensland normies. I could imagine that getting boring real quick. It'd be like me going back to my hometown and getting really bored with people in about the first 30 minutes. AZ, what's that look you're giving us just by the by? You've gone off and done the necessary, I assume.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, I've gone off and done the necessary. My teeth were doing things to me that teeth shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I've gone off and done the necessary.
You're muted, Abigail, by the way, in case you didn't know.
I'm
good.
listening to...
I'm talking to my son.
Yeah, no, I thought you might be talking to someone else. Yeah, that's cool.
See this packet of chips right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't stand salt and vinegar. They're salt and vinegar. I bought them for Will, my son, and he just saw them. Like, I just put them there to surprise him, and he just saw them in his eyes, almost bulged out of his head. And I said, the only way you're getting them is if you say hi to everyone on camera.
If you don't,
and he's like, he's standing there like,
or if he doesn't want to say hi to everyone, do you want to email them to me?
Email the salt and vinegar.
Email
I
you the
think I've got
chips.
some special chips up here. Now you've got me in a chip eating mood. Sorry.
Chip eating mood.
Where are you going? Get chips. Everyone's getting fucking chips.
He's agonizing over this right now, and it's so
Don't
fun to
agonize.
watch.
I am the
Charlie says
friendliest
hi.
person you'll meet. Son of Abigail.
Oh, what are they?
Doritos.
Oh,
This is garlic bread and cheddar chips. So look at AZ's disgusting.
sounds a lot nicer than salt and vinegar.
Or do they have like a divider in the middle of the packet?
No, they're just all randomly mixed up. So apparently half the chips have one artificial flavor on them, and the other half the chips have a different artificial flavor on them.
So, have you seen in the store there are Pringles cans that like they're white and they have a question mark on them, and you don't know what flavor they are. Like, who the hell would buy that?
That was the thing. That was a competition. You had to guess what flavor they were meant to be, and go onto the Pringles website and say, "I reckon they are bleu flavor."
Okay.
But yes, it was this mystery Pringles. What flavor are they? Who knows?
I would worry that you'd get like earwax flavor or something.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think it's a silly idea because who would
I
buy
think
that?
Pringles and scat is a fantastic combo.
Sorry, I missed that, Aidsy.
I think Pringles and scat is a fantastic combo. Because can you imagine opening up a Pringles tin and
all right, what flavor?
And then when you pop, you just can't stop. Choke it down, you get another rabbit punch. I've seen the videos.
We've all had those mornings. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kirsten's just come back to hear us talking about Pringles and scat, so
Oh yeah.
I'd still rather be talking about Lord of the Rings, but
Continue talking about Lord of the Rings.
You do that.
Fucking fell beast on my ring.
I
my ring to start my fell beast, or is it just one of those palm touch things?
What? Sorry, what was the question?
Do I need my ring to start my fell beast, or is it just a palm touch thing?
It's like riding a horse, basically. It's just gotta touch
fell
it.
beast. Come on, fell beast, beast.
Yeah, you can give your fell beast a name.
Have a piece of fucking ham, and there you go.
like instead of a carrot in your mouth, you have like a human finger between your teeth.
Yeah.
And it comes up the middle of the human finger from your lips.
No. There you go. Yep, your breast
Good
smells like
filming.
good. How's your teeth? Give us a look at your teeth.
The camera's
You're not going to fucking chew up a village like that, are you? Where's your fire? Come on, give me some fire. Punch it out. Punch it there, good boy. All right.
Don't do that, good boy.
Okay. This is just
fly around on it, and then you turn up anywhere, right?
Yeah.
You turn up at Coles, and people say, "Could you leave your fell beast outside?" You go, "I could leave my fell beast outside if you went and got my shopping for me quickly. Here's a list. I won't be paying, but then I won't be burning down your fucking shop either."
Yep, fair.
Yeah.
Let's understand one another and have a calming day. I want plastic bags, none of this fucking recyclable shit. And then, put it in the satchels. And then,
your fell beast would have satchels.
Yeah.
Your fell beast has got to have satchels.
Some sort of like saddlebag or
saddlebag
or something.
Saddlebag.
Yeah.
And even an actual saddle, like the Dillon.
Where are you going to keep your fucking loot? I think I'll fucking just hit this cathedral on the way home. I fucking want some McDonald's. They take gold. Here we go. In through the fucking vestry window. G'day, father. G'day, brother. Jesus, didn't know you were into fucking threesomes. Righto, down to the nave. We're getting everything looks like gold and jewels. Stick it in the fucking saddlebag. Hurry up now.
Also, burn your cathedral to the ground. Speaking of burning cathedrals to the ground.
Yeah.
Remember the Notre Dame fire?
Yes.
That was bad.
Well, was it? Yeah, I don't know.
Was it really?
Was it? Doing the Thor thing. Was it? I don't know. Sorry.
The Notre Dame is made out of stone. So
Yeah.
The tower was made out of wood. That's why it burned down. But the rest of it's stone. Yeah.
yeah, what was actually really special was as it burnt down, fucking the stone stayed up, which was pretty
Of course it did.
spectacular.
Oh, Egalich has pointed out, AZ, you can take your fell beast into the coals if it's an emotional support fell beast. So
Emotional.
they can't stop you from taking it into the shops if it's an emotional support fell beast.
I've got high anxiety.
Yeah.
I could take I could put my little wheelchair
Badge.
collar on that fell beast and park it anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
And
right.
fucking have my little card saying, "This is my emotional support fell beast."
I'm scared of everybody. I'm scared.
Or I'll burn the fucking shop down.
Yeah.
Just anxiety. And
Yeah.
they'll run around. They'll scurry. I like the word scurry when it
Scurry's
comes
a good word.
to supermarket employees, because there's one manager in my local supermarket. She won't scurry. Everyone else will scurry and she fucking won't. When I want something, I usually go up to her and say, do you know where the obscure item that contains the obscure item is? And she'll go, aisle 6. Yeah, is that aisle 6 this end or aisle 6 that end? On the north side or the south side? And she'll go, follow me. And then she'll wander, up to the thing, and there you go. There's your obscure thing in your obscure ingredient, in your obscure line. And I go, well, that's not actually the one I want, because that says something different. And then she'll look at it and go, they've put it in the wrong place. Where's Damien? And then she'll just stalk off finding Damien because he's for it, because he's put it in the wrong place. I've actually got one in my basket already. I just asked her for it because it pissed her off.
Yeah.
Because often what I'll do is I'll ask her for something and then just leave it at the actual checkout and not take it with me.
You're evil.
Because she go, why'd you leave that there? So I found it already, and I didn't need to. I only need one, and that means they've got to put it back. And I'm not that guy. I don't pick stuff up, put it in my cart, and then put it somewhere else in the supermarket, because I think that's a fucked thing to do. I will actually go and put it back. I always do that. And effectively, but for this individual, I will leave her little presents around the place. Sometimes I'll find her trolley, and I will stick things on her trolley that she didn't put there, that I just found and put there. Like, she'll be doing her confectionery run, and I'll find a fabric softener and stick it right in the middle of the Mars bars, and she'll come back and go, where the fuck did that come from? And unfortunately, there are 3 other ladies of the supermarket that I go to who are in on this, and they see me do it, and occasionally one of them will slip me something to give to her. And I'll go, I'm going to get in so much trouble because I know what you slipped me. And she's going to fucking hit the roof. And they go, we know. She's going to lose her shit, something fierce. And she'll lose it and scream Damien. Because what they'll also do is they'll re-tag it. And they'll mark down things like pads or tampons. Pads and tampons are expensive. And I put something like 18 cents, and she'll fucking lose her mind over this, because they're like $4 and $5 for a packet of like four or five, and like 18 cents. And it's like, no, that's not marked down to clear. They don't go off. Things that are marked down to clear have a use by date. and your sanitary products don't.
I know. That's why I picked up a whole bunch last month when they were on the reduced shelf. I'm like, yeah, that's 75% off. I'm gonna get myself a couple of boxes of those.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm picking up reduced. When I see coffee, because I buy big jars of Moccona and they're like $25, $26 a jar. Right, but they're a big fucking jar and it's good coffee.
Yeah, they're like that big.
It's well worth it. And effectively, they'll come down to $16 and $14.
Yeah,
and
that's when you get them.
I'll pick up a jar because it doesn't go off. I leave it sealed and in the cupboard. And sometimes I'll have like 5 and 6 jars in my cupboard. But who gives a fuck? Because it's not like it's going to go off. And it's not like it's going to cause my fell beast to have fucking heartburn if it gets into it. Sometimes the fell beast will get in the kitchen and start fucking tearing stuff around and eat the soap, which, you know, I fucking tell it every time, you're an idiot. You've fucking eaten the soap again and now you feel sick, don't you? Don't you? Don't you feel sick? And the fell beast is giving it a bit of, come on, we'll go out for a spew and a fly and you'll feel a lot better. So you got to keep your fell beast away from your soap products in your kitchen. But apart from that, it can eat fucking houses, fucking munchkins, hobbits, various different fucking men, kings, bits of masonry, but just keep it away from dishwasher fluid.
Yeah. You know what you're saying about your fell beasts, Aidsy? That just made me. I've been playing the video game Red Dead Redemption 2 for the last couple of weeks, which is super fun. And I think you'd really enjoy it. Like, if we ever get to the stage where you can come over to my place, I think you'd really enjoy me playing. And we should actually make a video of us fucking talking about me playing it, because I think people would find it really amusing. You're being, it's cowboy adventures, Barbie horse adventures for boys, basically. But there's a thing, like,
of course, what people don't know is that I can't play video games, but I'm an excellent strategist in video games. I'm a genius strategist in video games, and I've helped Halo teams dominate other Halo teams on tour. Sometimes the motels are really good and they'll hook up all the TVs. And so you've got 2 or 3 Xboxes. And the guys playing in different rooms in different teams. And they always fight over which team I'm on, because I will set up the guys in strategic positions. And you need one sniper and overarching arcs of fire. And you can fucking take out any motherfucker who tries to, because they'll respawn, you'll zap them. And then they'll respawn and you'll zap them again. And it's like, oh, you fuckers. But yes, I think coming around to your place and playing video games with you would be fun.
Because in Red Dead Redemption, you're a cowboy roaming around in a gang. If someone sees you commit a crime, you get a bounty placed on you and you have to pay it off, or bounty hunters and lawmakers will chase you and try and kill you. Except in each territory, there's a gang that's so bad, if you kill them, it's basically not regarded as a crime. So it's a really good therapy thing to find the gang in a particular area and kill a bunch of them, because you don't get a bounty, you don't get found guilty of a crime, because they're so bad you can fuck them up and it's whatnot. But I did once, I found one of their camps and there was like 10 of them, and I killed them all, and some of their horses were still tethered. And I'm going, there could be something worth it. And I thought of it because the saddlebags, there might be something worth stealing in these saddlebags. And I went up to one horse and it was a bit agitated by all the gunfire that had just happened. And I went through the saddlebag and it fucking kicked me. And I got back up and I'm saying, okay, fuck no, that's not acceptable. You kick me again and I'm going to shoot you in the... There were 2 horses tied up. Kick me again and I'll shoot you in the fucking head, okay? Because I can go through the saddlebags when you're dead, okay? And I went up and the saddlebag, and it kicked me again. So I shot it in the head, And then I
Crack.
just went to the second horse. Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? Okay. So I'm going to go through your saddlebags and you are going to be cool as fucking ice, or I will fucking you know I'll do it. You now know I will do it. I will shoot you in the fucking head if you kick me. So I think you'd enjoy just being able to go in and say, like, yeah, no, fuck that guy. Oh, no, let them go. They're okay. No, fuck that guy up. Fuck that guy up. Definitely do that. Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And horses that I couldn't sell, I'd definitely shoot. The other way I spell horse is GLUE. I've always hated fucking horses. I was often in high school surrounded by girls who loved their fucking horses.
Yeah.
And I would patiently listen
yeah.
to their fucking horse stories. And I just go, Jesus fuck, you know, get a motorbike. You know, you turn them on, you turn them off, you put fuel in them, they don't get sick. When they get sick, you take them to a mechanic. The mechanic fixes them up. If the mechanic doesn't fix them up, you fucking take it to the knackers and get a new fucking motorbike. There's no emotional attachment unless you're my ex-flatmate who was a dickhead. And, you know, I would love Red Dead Redemption going around shooting horses, because if all bad guys, all good guys chasing after me, the first thing I do is shoot the fucking horse.
No, you don't want to do that, because then a dead horse can be used as cover.
Not if I'm riding around my horse.
Yeah, but they could use it as cover.
My horse is called Fluffy, and my first horse had an unfortunate accident when I ran into one of these gangs I was talking about. Yeah. There's basically in the deep south, they're called the Lemoyne Raiders. This is the Red Dead Redemption 2 is set in 1899. So it's sometime after the Civil War. But in the deep south, there's some people who haven't given up on the idea of the war, and they're called the Lemoyne Raiders. So it's a victimless crime when you murdered these motherfuckers. And I was just riding along fucking innocently, and at an intersection, 4 of them fucking launched an attack on me. One of them had Molotov cocktails that I didn't know about. And at very close range, when I shot him, the Molotov cocktail he was carrying exploded, and he caught on fire. And unbeknownst to me, my horse caught on fire too. And I jumped off my horse and I shot all the other dudes. And then I went to try and find my horse. And my horse was dead because on fire by the fucking Molotov cocktail that this fucking piece of shit Civil War wannabe motherfucker had. And so my current horse is called Fluffy 2, because the original Fluffy got burned up in that encounter. And now I ride Fluffy 2.
Do you have an urn?
No, it didn't. Fluffy was just lying there. Fluffy didn't turn into ash. Fluffy was just lying dead on the ground. But but that was disappointing.
I'd have a little urn. Saying, "Here lies Fluffy. She was a good girl when she wasn't on fire."
Yeah. No, Fluffy had done really well right up to the point she caught on fire. And,
hey, Abigail, do any of the Silmarilliots shoot horses?
They shoot horses, don't they?
I think the answer is no. I think Abigail might be frozen, actually. No, I just saw her blink.
She moves. Are you awake?
So,
Abby.
You know what I learned in fucking Red Dead Redemption 2? Don't or be very hesitant to rescue women who've been kidnapped by someone. Like you're riding along and some dude rides past with a woman tied up on the back of his horse and she's screaming for help. And you go, I'm going to be a hero and save that woman. And twice it's happened to me. I've killed the guy who's obviously kidnapped this woman, and then I've picked her up and put her on the ground because she's tied up. And I'm about to untie her, and someone rides past and sees me with someone who's tied up and goes, oh my God, and runs off and tells the sheriff, I fucking kidnapped someone. And it's like, no, no, come back. I'm rescuing her. And sometimes you catch the witness. A witness saw you commit a crime. And if you can catch them and no one sees you catch them, you can sort of hold them on the ground and have a reasoned argument with them, which involves punching them until they agree not to turn you in. And it's like, I will fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you. Did you see anything? And they go, no, I didn't see anything. But twice I was rescuing someone, and just because someone rode around the corner and saw me with someone tied up and screaming, they went, oh my God, he kidnapped her. And I went,
it's fucking the cancer of women's rights, man. You know, shoes and the fucking vote. That was the two mistakes we made as men. Give them shoes, give them the vote. Don't, you know.
No, the problem was giving them practical shoes. Keep them in high heels, so it's harder for them to run away. But now we have regular flat shoes, so we can run away. And I get the vote, like, yeah, treating others equals. But no, keep us in your high heels.
What is that about? Treating us as equals? What's going on there?
I don't know. Keep them in high heels so they can't run away.
You know, I can run downstairs in high heels. Big fucking deal. Can a woman piss off a cliff?
Oh, also, I've seen him. Okay, I've seen him in ballrooms in high heels and running up and down spiral staircases, throwing himself into a suitor's arms, saying, I have always relied on the kindness of strangers. And true, he can do it. He can do it.
Yeah.
And I've come up in torch singer lounges, in my finery, high heels and split dress, and going, I hate you so much I could die from it. Give me another drink and take me home.
I think I own one pair of high heels and I can't walk in them.
Do you know the trick? Do you know the trick?
I can't walk in flats either. I can't walk. I'm just like.
So, Kirsten, Catherine, you just can't walk. Okay.
Get yourself a plank, or like if you've got wooden floors. Do you have wooden floors or concrete floor?
I have one.
I know.
Wood floor. Okay. So what you do is you pick a plank and you put your heels on and you walk on that plank with your heels one after the other. Yeah?
Yep.
And you step down in your heels, not like you're on your toes, but with your heel down like your heel would be on the floor, and your toes down like your toes would be on the floor, and you step directly 1 foot in front of the other. And that is how you stay stable in heels. The moment you laterally put your feet apart, your heels will come out from under you.
Oh.
The straighter you keep them, the more support they'll give you. It does, however, involve you moving your hips and back around in ways that are not natural.
Yeah, you throw your hips and back out. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't sound like good. I've been in a lot of pain lately because I've thrown everything out. Like,
don't wear heels, Catherine. Don't wear heels.
Like, completely. I was at my physio on Thursday and they're like, you know how you've been complaining that you can't stand up straight? You throw your neck out.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, heels is not good for a neck.
No, they're very bad. Very bad.
Anything to do with the back, don't wear heels.
Yeah, and because this was a new video, they're like, because I got pissed off with the old one, because I'm like, I can't walk straight. I can barely stand up for
Look,
like
Catherine
6 weeks.
right.
And they're like, I don't know, go to the other guy.
Okay.
What?
You know what? You got
Yeah.
me thinking, Aidsy, with that talk of heels and stuff. It just popped into my head. Marlena Dietrich dressed in drag, aka dressed as a man, singing "Show me the way to the next whiskey bar." Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Which makes me want to drink some whiskey now. So that's fucking.
Do you have whiskey?
I have fucking whiskey. I have whiskey. Yeah.
Um,
Do you still keep that spreadsheet?
I do. No, I absolutely do. Now, see, Ainsy seems confused, but Catherine knows this year I have kept a spreadsheet of, because I wanted to know how much booze I was drinking. So I kept a spreadsheet of all the booze I bought, the date I bought it, and the date I finished the bottle. And I've bought like 60 or 70 bottles this year. And I've only emptied about 15 of them, but I've bought 60 or 70 bottles this year. So, that's a
do
thing.
you record the shots that you take out of the?
No, I just how long it takes me to finish the bottles. I put the date when I bought it and the date when I emptied it. What I should have done was also the price, so I could track how much I was spending.
Yeah, there might be a column to add.
Yeah, some of them only cost $30 or $40
So
a
that
bottle, and
the
some
cocktail
cost
videos
$8 a
can
bottle. So.
actually start to pay for themselves. You know what kind of sponsorship you need. You need to start thinking about sponsorship for your cocktail videos.
I want to be these guys, Starwood, the ones that Kirsten worked for until she got poached and moved to Sydney. Starwood, who are just down the road in South Melbourne. This is their special one they brought out a couple months ago. Fortis. You can see it's almost gone. It's almost gone. It's a high proof whiskey, 50% alcohol whiskey, matured in American oak red wine barrels. I'm just gonna do a shot. Okay, Kirsten's piped up because I only bought 60 or 70 bottles of booze this year, whereas Kirsten bought 60 or 70 bottles of gin this year, and there's the other 50 of all the other things she bought. I'm just going to do a shot of Fortis for a while, actually. Just going to do it on the rocks.
Yeah.
A lovely Australian whiskey. I still want to fucking visit them at some point when we're not locked down because they're just down the road.
But not in the radius.
Oh my god, just the aroma! Like I love it because I got this so I can get my whole nose in this glass, and it's so sweet. You're just like inhaling that, and it's this caramel, slightly spicy sweetness.
Oh, lovely.
AD's the whiskey man. I'm gonna have to save this for when you can come over, so you
fucking
can. I'll just buy another fucking bottle of it, quite honestly.
Yeah, because I adore a whiskey.
My God, and it's you've got that. You've got the warmth, the burn from the whiskey, but it's so fucking easy to drink. It tingles on the tongue, and it's honey and caramel sweetness, and Jesus, oh my God, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting AD horny. I'm not
hurting. I'm not hurting. It's okay. Meditation will fix this ill.
Yeah.
A couple more of those.
Yeah, no, dude. If I happen to be a meanie fofini and drink all of this, I'll just get another bottle. Come over. It is really like Starwood. I guess the entry level Starwood is the other one I have. It's called Twofold. It's made of a blend of two different grain whiskies. It's light and smooth, and it's so easy to drink. This, of course. I mean, what's the description on the bottle? Fully matured in 100% American oak red wine barrels, predominantly sourced from Barossa Valley wineries. This is a single malt, full-bodied, flavor-forward, maintains intense wine, ripe red fruit flavors extracted from the barrel stage, Finish is long, captures the palate with a flavour of ripe figs, vanilla toasted oak and raisins. See, that's the normal sort of gumph they put on. I can't taste all that, but I just go, it's just this sweetness. Oh my God. And it just fucking carries on. And I'm not a whiskey drinker, right? I mean, I use it in cocktails and whatnot.
Right. And if you're not a whiskey drinker and you're getting into it, I mean, can you imagine what I'd do?
Yeah. No. Well, we definitely need to do like some fucking Australian whiskey tasting when you're around it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm still fucking very, very keen to get my fell beast.
Yes.
Oh,
At this point, we need to find some of our artist friends, and we've got to get someone to do AIDSy on a fell beast. I think we've got to think who to reach out to. I'll actually commission a work. I'll do I'm not a bastard. I'll do a paid commission for an artist to do AIDSy on a fell beast. Ooh,
Abigail's off, but I was going to ask Abigail, do I need a ring to Charlie?
This is my copy of the bestiary of Tolkien's work. I'm going to look up fell beasts and where to find them.
I literally, Abigail, I have the first edition of that because I'm older than you. I have the first edition of the Tolkien bestiary.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh my God, because Kirsten moved to Sydney to work for Archie Rose. Yes, no, I need to get some of Archie Rose's single malt. That's a Sydney distillery that Kirsten's working for now. So, I have two books that I bought back when I was still in high school, I think. So the 80s. The Tolkien bestiary is one. And there was another one, I think it was the original release I got was called The Tolkien Treasury, and it was changed things, but it has all this nerdy shit in it. And this is one, okay, Abigail, bringing back some Lord of the Rings stuff. There's a bit in one of the appendices that says that the hobbits talked of sending a company of archers to support the first war against Sauron. But
because the Shire is part of Arnor.
Yeah.
The hobbits sent a company of archers to help Arnor in the fight against the Witch King.
But the bit in the appendices said the hobbits say they sent it, but the official records of men have no record of this company of archers. In this book,
it was like 100 hobbits.
Yeah, in this book, The Tolkien Treasury, there's a fanfic that tells the story of that company of archers done as personal journal entries of one of the hobbits. And the reason no one ever heard of them, because they engaged with orcs on their way to support the king, and they never actually reached the king because after a succession of battles, they were all killed. But it's a really nice bit of fanfic. Personal journal entries of this hobbit, who's one of the last ones to survive as they're trying to make their way to the king, because they keep having these engagements with orcs. They lose their numbers, and they were all killed. That's basically in this fanfic. The reason the histories of men don't record this company of hobbits is the hobbits were all killed before they reached the armies of men. Really nice bit of fanfic, though. Oh my God, I don't think I've drunk the Fortis for a couple of weeks, and I just had that little half shot of it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get back on the Starwood site and order some more Fortis. It's really good.
Yeah.
Celtic King is desperate to know. Celtic King wants you to check his Pornhub account, AIDSy. So I don't know if that's a thing you want to.
Pornhub.
Does he find it by searching Celtic King on Pornhub? How would he actually find it? All right. This is the curse of this live stream: buying alcohol on the live stream.
Yeah. Oh no, the most interesting question is how long will it take to get here?
Okay, so Charlie, sorry, you haven't. Have you said anything, or are you trying to get somewhere where you can talk to us?
No. I'm not echoing again, am I?
No,
You're not. I'm not sure. No, I'm not hearing my echo either.
Yeah.
And AIDS's back. I think AIDS's back. Where did you go, brother?
Oh, here's B.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
So,
back. I
Ludo's here.
just did a bad thing.
What did you do,
What
brother?
did you
I
Yeah, you went black. Sorry.
did I just go black again?
Yeah, you're
do?
black now.
Yes,
You can
yes.
hear me though.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. And you went black, but not in a good way, you know, not from the waist down, if you know what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, no. I've only got a small dick, but I use it well.
Yeah, technique is where you went out, brother.
Oh, I
That's
know,
what
right?
counts.
Okay.
It's still one of the funniest things that ever happened in Seinfeld was the episode where George Costanza had been swimming in a really cold lake and was getting changed and didn't have his glasses on, and he was naked, and a woman walked in and saw him naked after he just came out of a cold lake and was like laughing at him. And he's going, Jerry, you have to tell her the cold water, it makes it shrink. And Jerry's going, I think women know that. And they go, they don't, Jerry, they don't. And they get, Elaine, do you know cold water makes it shrink? And Elaine goes, really? Does that happen?
Really?
That is the funny thing that you occasionally have to explain to things. Penises are extremely strange, and
They're shapeshifters.
they will shrink to almost nothing. And in fact, in cold enough water, they can virtually retract into your fucking body. And it's not a reflection on what you might be able to do later.
There's a story about Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
They were some people. They were like filming somewhere, and he went skinny dipping in this lake, and when he got out, everyone was like stunned by how huge his dick was, and they were all looking at him shocked. And he said, "What? Doesn't everyone else's shrink in the cold?"
Because Liam Neeson apparently does have a big dick. I've heard multiple stories that Liam Neeson has a big dick. Which, you know, good on you, brother. Good on you. So, I don't know. Because when you're okay, I'll let you on a secret. When you're a teenager, as a boy, boys get kind of obsessed and really insecure about dicks, and they talk about how big it is, and like mine's like 18 inches. It's like, yeah, what are you gonna do with it? Stir soup? Because if your dick is actually that big, no woman's letting you put it anywhere near them. So, good luck with that. So, but
ouch.
Teenage boys and dicks. What a thing.
Oh yeah, no, you want to know a really interesting story?
Yes.
In I think year 10 PE, that we would have been like 15. They were debating about who was gonna start the basketball match or something, and they go, I'll push you for it, two guys. And they literally trust themselves.
Oh my god.
One could. I went, pull his hand out. Yeah, no. I kid you not.
No.
I'm not making this up.
What have you walked in on, Lee? That's all just like. Yeah, we're talking about dicks now because it's reached that stage.
Yeah.
Dicks. They're annoying and intrusive, but occasionally useful.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them.
Oy vey.
Abigail, I'm not a big fan.
Oh, no, I feel like I need to clean my head.
So
Fortunately for me,
I-
the occasional woman is. So
I only like dicks if the woman who has one is willing to let me
yeah.
do
Yeah.
things with it. But, you know,
I am literally jealous of people growing up in the current world where there is more tolerance of chicks with dick and guys without dick. It's got a much better world than the world even just 20 years ago. The world was shit compared to the world now.
Oh, yeah.
Level of understanding
absolutely.
and acceptance and
Absolutely.
embracing.
So I have to go.
Okay.
I'm developing a migraine and
Oh,
Oh, no, good.
violently dying. That's why I've got the light off. I just have to not have all this noise around me.
Lay in the dark and the
Good night,
quiet.
That's rough.
And get well tomorrow.
and
all right,
live
take
long
care,
and
Abigail. Live long and
Bye,
prosper.
Abby.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, Aidsy came back. Aidsy came back.
Bye, Abby. Bye, Abby.
Oh, and Safa's given
Yeah,
us a hot tip on the
checked out
sports ball
Celtic
Richmond
Kings
one.
Pornhub account, and I couldn't get anything going.
All right.
So I didn't see anything. So I'm sorry, Celtic King. There was I can't comment upon a thing. I tried to navigate around and couldn't see anything happening. You might have to join or something.
Yeah, possibly.
I haven't joined.
Ooh,
That's
sorry.
for sure.
I'm just throwing it out there because Kirsten was talking about, besides being able to tolerate one dick, husbands, and getting me an Archie Rose single malt. I was looking on the Archie Rose site. We had this huge conversation last night because Archie Rose lets you tailor a whiskey. If you've got a lot of money, you can do your own keg of whiskey from 40
How
to
big is the keg?
a keg from 40 liters to 100 liters, and you can set all the parameters for it, and they will age and flavor a whiskey for you, which is pretty fucking cool. But their standard stuff, I'm just looking at it. They have a single malt whiskey, a rye malt whiskey, and then they do the tailored stuff. But they have a white rye, a white
Oh,
whiskey.
that's fucking rare.
Because in terms of making cocktails, something with the flavor of a rye whiskey, but it's clear, so it doesn't color the cocktail, that opens up a whole bunch of fucking doors with mixed. Oh, so Kirsten's saying the casks, the custom-made casks, about 3 people a week do it. Like it's really, and I think because we were talking about it last night, that seems like a landmark birthday thing, like a 30th or a 40th or a 50th or a 60th. You'd go, fuck yeah, I'm getting a cask of custom made whiskey, and everyone who rocks up to my birthday is getting a bottle of my custom made whiskey. Sound pretty.
That's good.
But yeah, the white rye's really caught my imagination. It's won a whole bunch of awards. Yeah, something with the flavor of a rye whiskey, but it's clear. So, yeah. And they have
I've got to
bottles
get my
as well.
moonshine still going again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fucking, yeah. I'm giving up too many drugs. I've got to get replace one with another.
Alright.
So, yeah.
You switch it up.
Okay. I'll get a sour mash scotch going, and I'll smoke it up with some gum.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll step you through it, man. What you do with the tailored spirits, like a tailored whiskey. You can also have a tailored vodka, which I assume, or a tailored gin, which I assume you can get basically straight away. But like a whiskey, first you select: do you want a single malt or a rye malt whiskey? Then you select the cask size, which can be 20 litre, which costs you $4,000, up to 100 litres, which costs you $17,000.
Oh,
That's not bad.
No, it's actually not bad.
it's an amazing price.
And then you select the cask wood type, either virgin oak or first fill oak. And then you select the smoke level. It can be lightly smoked, no smoke, or heavily smoked. And then finally, you get to choose the strength. The standard is 46%, or you can go cask strength, so undiluted, which is 60%. Or you can actually pick. You can say, no, 60% is too much, but 50% would be cool. I'd like 50%. So you can actually choose the strength of your whiskey, and then you're off to the races. They will mature a cask of whiskey for you and bottle it up, and you get to custom design your labels as well. So,
All right, here's my question.
Catherine.
Do you get to sample it before you buy it? Because I'd hate to buy 100 liters of whiskey and then get it and not like it.
Short answer is no. You'd have to trust them as experienced distillers to do a good job, which I think you could trust them.
Yeah.
But I think you could possibly also get into, rather than just do it through the website, you could, particularly if you were going to go 100 litres, you could get in contact with them and say, look, I'm not an expert, but I like blah, 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 and I want blah, blah, blah. And they'd say, we can do this
tastings.
for you. Yeah.
You do a series of tastings and go.
I bet you could go to the actual distillery if you were going to get the 100 litres and say, can you give me some example tastings? Like, this is this. I bet they would do that. I actually bet they would do that.
But how much is 100 litres?
100 litres will cost you $17,000.
Yeah, so if you're going to spend that much money, they will do that for you.
I am sure you could go to the distillery and they'd go, hell yes, let's sit down and let's do some tastings.
They do it for 20 litres.
Yeah, they do it for the 20 litre one. I bet if you went to the distillery,
tastings of the flavors that you were putting together,
yeah,
and put a rough flavor profile together and say, "Do you like that?" You'd go, "Yeah." Then you'd give them a check.
Sounds like once in a lifetime opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it depends how rich you are.
Yeah. Well, Kirsten's saying they got 2 orders in the last week for 2 kids' 18th, and she imagines an 18-year-old's not going to fully appreciate it. Go, yeah, but an 18-year-old should put the bottles aside and then maybe open one on their 30th birthday and open one on their 40th birthday. And then they will go, yeah, a 30-year-old will open it and go, I was such a piece of shit at 18. I would never have appreciated this. And that's what the 18-year-old should do. They should put the bottles aside and open them on the landmark birthdays.
However,
they won't.
You'll often find also that parents, a la fathers, will come in at the birth of their sons and go, I'm putting down 100 litres for their 18th, and come back 18 years later.
Well, the big thing was buying a bottle of Penfolds Grange the year your child.
That's right.
And then opening it on their 18th or 21st.
Yeah.
And that's like you buy a bottle of Penfolds Grange the year it comes out, and it costs you a couple $100. But if you keep it till that kid's 18 or 21, and an aged Penfold Grange of that age costs thousands. But
so it's all about patience You can't be an alcoholic. Yeah. Yeah.
You can be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Did you know the chat PBR Street Gang popped in and said, "I'm pissed," and Dustin Martin is a freak. I believe it, but I don't know who Dustin Martin is.
All
I
right.
don't either, but I believe Dustin Martin is a freak also.
Oh, he's an Australian rules footballer. There you go. Richmond just won.
The guy they call Dusty.
Pluto's being
Oh, he won the North-
so cute and cuddly.
Okay.
You just said that Richmond just won?
Richmond won the grand final.
Well done, Richmond.
Well ahead at half time, and then Richmond absolutely stormed home in the second half and cleaned the floor with them.
Yeah.
My
Nice
man
work,
is
Richmond.
slamming down. Oh, watermelon fat lamb. Oh my God, you are classy as fuck.
Oh,
Hey,
fat
have you been introduced to Little Fat Lamb, Aidsy?
No.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's like the worst thing.
It's like drink that's alcoholic, and you can get 1.25 liters for between $5 and $10, depending.
$8. Yeah.
And it's terrifying.
It's not worth it. It's nasty.
Well, nothing beats foie gras, which is an acquired taste, which is like duck liver or something.
I bet yeah, foie gras is pulverized duck liver, isn't it?
Yeah.
Duck pate. Nah, but I've tried Little Fat Lamb, and it's just like Oz and Mars. Best one ever, and we're drinking Little Fat Lamb, and I wake up the next day, and I'm like, why did we do that? Why did we do that?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it tastes like it tastes like regret.
Definitely.
Oh,
No.
Down, he just like afterwards. It's like, nah.
Little Fat Lamb is just about getting pissed. It's not about the taste or the quality. It's just about bang for your buck, getting absolutely shit faced for $10.
Fucking nasty.
It is nasty.
Yeah. But like at that point, you may as well just do the goon and cordial.
Yeah, no, just goon, for God's sake, yeah.
You would never find me drinking that. If I drank alcohol, you wouldn't find me drinking goon.
There's a new drink coming out of hip hop in the States, and I think it's called Lean. And it's made out of booze and cough syrup and Slurpee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sounds American.
something else. And apparently it's quite effectively inebriating.
Intoxicating.
And there was this one song.
If it's got the kind of cough syrup that has codeine in it.
I imagine it would.
Sorry, I just want to completely change the topic. There's a stuff going on in the chat that I find fascinating. Kirsten said mainland Australian whiskey is no good after about 4 years. It's because it's too hot here and the cask's over oak. But Kirsten, what about if it's bottled? Like it's aged for the right amount of time in a cask and then you bottle it. Will it change over time in the bottle? That's my question. Will it stay the same, or is there any change in character over the years in the bottle? I know it's cask aging for traditional Scotch, etc., which is the big deal. But it's kind of funny, like watching the Whiskey Tribe on YouTube, because those dudes are in Texas, and Texas climate is like fucking Australian climate, and they are experimenting with their own whiskies at the moment, and they acknowledge. Okay. Kirsten's saying once it's in glass, it doesn't change. Okay. But, I will stick by. Give an 18-year-old their custom whiskey, and they definitely won't appreciate it when they're 18. And it may not have changed in character by the time they're 30, but the person will have changed, and there's more chance the person will appreciate it. And if they don't appreciate it at 30, they open another bottle when they're 40 and see if they appreciate it then.
Well, I can
That's
guarantee
right.
I've changed a lot since being 18, and I'm almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
It's like the younger you are, the bigger difference. Like you change more between 18 and 25 than you change between 30 and 50, basically. You do change, but you
Mm.
change more between 18 and 25 than you do 30 and 50. And you will change more between 15 and 18 than you do between 18 and 25. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it's just a factor of it's a percentage of your life, and you kind of settle the person you still change, but you kind of settle into the person you are by the time you hit about 30. But yes,
yep.
and Megan Leach raises a good point, Aidsy. You actually changed ball sacks between 30 and 50, so that's
Well, that's right.
what everyone goes through.
I bit the bullet, and I decided that the ball sack had to go.
Yes.
It wasn't.
No. Drop it.
It wasn't
Drop
doing
it.
it for me. You know, and when I say it wasn't doing it for me, what I mean by that is it was trying to eat my skin alive.
Yes.
And so the ball sack had to go, as well as half my inner thigh.
Yeah.
And
I've seen
so
it.
after that,
Wait, you like chamomile?
Mhm.
Just 8. Cool.
yes. So I've been through some changes.
Some changes.
Between 30 and 50.
Ooh.
Haven't had a decent birthday party since I was 30 though.
Because all your landmarks keep getting fucked up by circumstance.
It's weird. My 30th was absolutely fucking massive, right?
Yep.
And then my 40th was in fucking hospital, which you turned up to, which was really nice.
Yes.
And a few other people did, and they tried their best, but it was in the short stay unit and sucked ass. And then my 50th was going to be fucking massive, and we locked down. So
COVID killed your 50th, yeah.
Maybe we should just do a big 53rd, and maybe if it doesn't get a 0 on it, it won't be jinxed.
Yeah, who knows?
True.
I think Milk My Man-Tits is definitely 4 sheets to the wind because he's throwing non sequiturs into the chat, which I'm really enjoying, saying like, well, if the wife has friends over, I have to wear pants. And we drink Cafe Patron. Patron is an upmarket tequila brand. I don't like coffee flavor, so I've never had Cafe Patron, but I have had Patron Silver tequila. But I'm not really a tequila aficionado, so I have to admit, I've got some Cuervo over there. I think my silver tequila at the moment is Cuervo, which tequila aficionados frown at, but I'm not that into it. Sorry, again, chat. Annette saying, Catherine, Annette thinks you look like you're being slowly eaten by your Snuggie. So that's
very
a good,
comfy.
Yeah, yes. There we go. Catherine's being consumed now. There is no Catherine. There is only Snuggie.
I've got the dog on my lap.
Oh yes, you've got your papa. I've still got Mimsy's gone to sleep in her little secret alcove in the cat tree. But she only started doing this recently. Milk My Man-Tits, you're a cheap man. What you say is, why spend 200 ringing a jump off? See, Patron is actually expensive in Australia. I'm not sure what part of the world you're in, but Patron is an expensive tequila in Australia, which is why I have had it in the past. But because I'm not a big tequila head, I don't always get. I don't get dirt cheap tequilas, but I don't get really expensive tequilas either. I mean, that's the thing I'd like to do when we're not fucked. So when there's a vaccine, when we're not going to die, like 6 or 12, 24 months from now, when you can have people over, get some friends over and just do tastings. Just do tastings and say, hey, here's a cheap tequila, here's a mid-range tequila, here's an expensive tequila. Can you tell the difference? Like, drink it straight. Can you tell the difference? Let's make a cocktail out of it. Can you tell the difference? Because I think a lot of it's hype. There's like a law of diminishing returns. Really cheap booze is terrible. Mid-range booze is very good. And high-end booze is arguably a bit better than mid-range booze, but the high-end booze costs 2 to 10 times more than the mid-range booze, and it's not 2 to 10 times better than the mid-range booze. It's kind of marginally better than the mid-range booze, but that's my theory. Oh, big one, man. You're in WA, the lockdown state. Okay, so I thought you were an Aussie. When you said about Patron being cheap, I wasn't sure. That's okay.
Well, that's why at Jewish ceremonies and parties, they tend to have the expensively good and really good tasting alcohol at the start. And then when people are all drunk, they get the cheaper ones out.
That makes sense.
Story. There's a biblical story about that, the Jesus turning water into wine story.
That's where I learnt it from.
But the Jesus story is the inverse of that. But yes, it says the Jewish tradition is you serve the most expensive wine at the start, and then when everyone's drunk, you give them cheap wine. But the water to wine story, all the wine's gone, and Jesus turns water into wine, and that makes even better wine. So someone says to the host, "Oh, normally people would give us the best wine at the start, and then when we're drunk, give us cheap shit. But at the end, you gave us the best wine I've ever tasted. You are truly a mensch." So yeah, that is a Jewish good wine at the start, cheap wine at the end. Yeah.
You might as well have the good wine when you're sober enough to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a work do where someone, and I don't understand people who get shit-faced drunk at work dues, but we had one when I was working in Sydney, had a little boat cruise on the harbour where one woman got paralytic shit-faced drunk, and one of her friends was saying like, "Oh, here's your next beer," and she had literally tipped the beer out and just put water into the can. And this woman was so drunk, she didn't know she was drinking water because she was pissed she couldn't.
That reminds me of when Mum cut up spinach and gave it to my brother's friends who thought that the cut up spinach was dope, and they pretended they thought they were getting high off of it, but it was only spinach.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, I'm fading fast here. So
likewise, that was my computer.
Make it
I'll see you good people soon.
No worries, AT.
I will come with songs of victory and cheer.
Yeah.
I may not be on tomorrow night. We'll see. So, but I'll be back sometime. Bye.
Bye. I'm now too. All right.
I can head out. All right. I'm going to head out to go to bed. This is the third slightly long night. So this is only 3 hours rather than 5 hours.
Yeah.
Gonna crash out.
It's a good idea. Yeah, same.
Same here. Goodbye.
Yes.
Peace.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.